It is the year 0123. Without the double O, it kind of doesn't hit.
Yeah, Steven was just saying that on Giant Robot FM too. It sounds like a sin when you say it without double O.
It doesn't change the math. You can put 2 zeros there.
Okay. It is the year 0123 of the Universal Century. Over a century has passed since Earth began moving its burgeoning population into gigantic orbiting space colonies. A new home for mankind, where people are born and raised and podcast. With the reveal of Laplace's box and some sort of narrative and a little bit of a flash, the gang finds themselves in a Universal Century only slightly different from the one we remember. One that feels a little rushed and half-finished. They notice that even with shorter mechs and more family drama, they're going to be cursed with milquetoast protagonists and mask-wearing villains for as long as Gundam exists. But hey, at least sometimes we get biofeedback and silly little pirate mobile suits.
I've never betrayed anyone in my entire life.
Welcome to On the Shoulders of Giants, a giant robot power hour discussing mechs across media, their stories, and why we love them. I'm Alice, and I'm joined by Brian.
I'm a pathetic man who lost his podcast to that woman, Alice.
And Nico.
Hey, I've been looking into ways to execute eco-fascism. I'm thinking Beyblades.
And on this episode, we are joined by Nina.
With a number of Zen koans ready to help you tap into your latent new type abilities.
We are also joined by Tom.
And I could fix her. And by her, I mean this movie.
We've got a full cast today, and this time I am once again asking to be kidnapped so I can become the space queen I've always meant to be. Mobile Suit Gundam F91. Let's launch into it. Welcome to another of the one-year pod. This episode, we are joined by a couple of guests. We've packed the pod cockpit, the pod pit, full of people today. I'm going to introduce our guests now. We have Nina at Dyer and Sparks on Insta, and Tom, both of which are from Mobile Suit Breakdown, the iconic Gundam podcast at GundamPodcast.com. Welcome, Nina and Tom.
Thank you so much for having us.
Very excited to be here.
Yeah. So describe kind of what you do over on Mobile Suit Breakdown. You're going chronologically through the Gundam franchise, taking your time doing it. You're currently on Mobile Fighter G Gundam, which some might say is the Gundam of all time. But who cares about that? I want to know, tell me about the Yugoslav interlude.
Oh, gosh. So this... so last year, when we were covering Victory Gundam, the Gundam of 1993... Tomino has been very clear in some interviews that he gave that a lot of his inspiration for the setting, for the conflict that takes place in Victory Gundam, was the wars that attended the breakup of the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia in the early 90s. And I thought, I kind of remember when that happened. I was a small child. I remember hearing about it on the news, but I don't really know anything about the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia or Yugoslavia in general. And I think it would help me to understand Victory Gundam if I knew more about it. So I'll do some research about it, which is what we do on Mobile Suit Breakdown when we encounter something in Gundam that seems a little bit confusing or just anything that we think we could benefit from a little deeper understanding of. We do research and report about it on the podcast.
Y'all are doing the Lord's work.
Real.
And then after he spent 2 or 3 weeks researching just like a couple of like a 2 to 3 year long period before even the formation of Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
It became very clear this needed to be its own separate
Right.
thing.
I did like 3 or 4 segments about this during the course of the year we did Victory. But by the end of that, I hadn't even actually gotten to the formation of the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. I was still in World War II with the Kingdom of Yugoslavia. So I realized it was going to need to continue. And I justify this to myself by thinking that after Tomino, you get a whole succession of Gundam writers and Gundam chief directors and producers who had not themselves ever lived through a war. Like Tomino was born early enough that he remembers parts of World War II. He certainly remembers the aftermath. And so that informs everything he does in Gundam. When he depicts a war, he is depicting his own personal memories of war. But the further you go on in Gundam, the less that's true. And the nature of war changes. The Gundams that are being made in the 90s are not really about World War II anymore. They're new things. They're metaphorical. The war becomes simply a metaphor for different kinds of social struggles. And so I thought, if I want to understand these future Gundams, I have to understand what the people who were making them thought about war. What were they learning about war from the news? What was the nature of the war that they were seeing? And in the 90s, the wars in Yugoslavia were one of the most reported on, videotaped. They were the most visible wars going on. They defined what warfare was for a new generation.
Yeah.
So that's a great justification. But the real answer is I was really interested in it and I wanted to keep researching it. And the only way I could justify that to myself was if I made it part of my job.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah. I think that's interesting. I guess we can talk about the Gundam part of your podcast, but if everyone should go and check out their feed, if only for the Yugoslav interludes, because I would put it up there with Behind the Bastards on level of history that I'm I never knew anything about this, and it's so interesting. And also, oddly enough, not to say it, but yeah, it does kind of make Victory Gundam make a little more sense, which it didn't need to because hot women, but it's okay.
No, I think that's so useful and helpful because we were just discussing with John Durham in our episode on 08th MS team the really confused signifiers deployed in that seemed to muddle Vichy France during World War II, but also a third-hand perspective on Vietnam. And so I really like what you brought up there as far as who are the people who are succeeding Tomino and what is their perspective on war? Because it really did feel at least for 08th MS team, a lot of that was informed by MASH less than any kind of personal perspective. So that's really interesting. I'm really glad you did that research.
Thank you.
Nina, a question for you. Which stereotypical Gundam from G-Fighter have you seen so far that you love the most?
Ooh, of all the stereotype ones, definitely the Dragon Gundam.
Good choice. Iconic. He is channeling chi. He has his chakras. He is in.
Are there non-stereotype Gundams in G Gundam?
Well,
Holland Gundam? I don't think that's a stereotype. That's
we
just
haven't
what
met that
Holland
one
is
yet.
like. We haven't gotten there yet, Nina, not to spoil it.
I can never remember which mobile suits in this show are mobile suits and which are Gundams, but my actual current favorite is the Death Beast. Because I like anything that's not too humanoid. 4 legs, 6 legs.
Oh, nice. This thing rules.
Yeah.
It's great. To jump off of that, this is your first time on the podcast. I've locked you in the interrogation room. I've turned the light towards you, and I have some questions about mecha. Nina and Tom, what's your favorite mecha?
Machine or show?
Show. Just kidding.
I mean,
the robot. There's no way we can do the show version. What's your favorite? What's your little guy? What's your little dude?
Okay. Despite really enjoying Gundam and really liking the mobile suits, actually the little guys in Gundam I love the most are the mini mobile suits, the petites, the ones that are only a little bit larger than a person and just get absolutely wrecked every time you see them.
What were the little froggy ones?
The Gwigsies.
Yes, Gwigsy.
Gwigsies from Victory.
Yes.
The Draken E from 0080. This is the Rhea Defense Force little powered armor guy. I think that's probably my favorite.
I have an unbuilt one right here. Still haven't put together. The smallest sprue I've
Alice
ever
is
seen.
holding up a sprue, just a random orange sprue.
You can see him. You can see his little body in here. He's a guy. I don't need this.
I love a scene where you see like a whole bunch of army guys or police guys like going through their whole preparation ritual. The attack is coming. The alarm is sounding. They're loading missiles into their helicopters and taking off. And some guy is waving those little batons that tell the helicopters where to go. And then they just get absolutely wrecked in 10 seconds by the enemy. I love when that happens. I pop off every time. And the Dracony is like a major feature in that part of a 0080.
Anytime Torrington base is getting bombed, I'm cheering.
Yeah, what's your favorite mech? Like, suit?
I am terrible at picking favorites of literally anything. But
in this moment, right now.
In this moment, I'm really feeling the Zagok. I love the Zagok.
Valid.
Is it specifically because of the one time when Char is in a Zagok and he runs really fast across the screen in Jabro? How much of it is inspired by that one particular scene?
Most of it, honestly, is the little 3-clawed pincer hands.
Little crabby.
I love weird little pincer hands.
So other grounding questions here. What's your history, the two of you, with the mecha genre? Like, what? Tom, you're pretty learned in it, but Nina, you're kind of new to it. Tell me kind of about your journey with mecha.
I really hadn't seen any mecha shows until Tom got me to watch. What the first one was? Did we watch part of Iron-Blooded Orphans first, or did you have me watch part of Unicorn first?
No, you probably don't even remember this, but back in college, I got you to watch like the first 2 episodes of Zeta.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember that at all.
And you were like, I don't think I want to continue doing this.
That left no impression whatsoever.
There's 50 of these?
You were nicer about it than that. I'm sure you were like, oh, that was great. Can't wait to watch another one.
Wow.
Let's schedule it for some time.
I get that.
But, so we got to the year before Gundam's 40th anniversary, and Tom had this wild idea that he wanted to watch all of it in release order. And once I understood exactly how much TV, how much anime that was he was talking about. I don't know entirely why I thought of this. I think I had just watched the movie Julie and Julia, but I was like, okay, if we're going to do this, we're going to make some sort of project out of it.
Yes.
We're going to write a blog or make a podcast or something. And then once we actually started watching First Gundam, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, there's a lot to talk about here. We can put those liberal arts degrees to work.
Yep.
Quick roundtable. Who here has a liberal arts degree and who doesn't? I'm holding. Okay, that's 4 liberal arts degrees and me over here with the science degree. All right, let's do it. That's kind of really the grounding questions that I had for you. I'm really excited. I do think if anybody wants to check out a Gundam podcast, I'm pointing them to yours. The people that you have on, the guests that you have bring so much depth. Honestly, even if people aren't listening to it for the recap of what happens, the diving in you do on the actual content. Like on this series, we're more like hot takes, quick, just skimming through these and getting a little into that. But for people who really want to dive in, it feels like not that podcasts have replaced Blogspot posts, but like I don't know if you've tried to Google for Blogspot posts of people writing essays in the 2010s. You can't find them anymore. So, hey, at least I can point them to Mobile Suit Breakdown if they want some information.
Well, we love that. We love overthinking everything about these shows.
Same.
Would you say that you've put more thought into them than Tomino? Anyway, let's get into the media.
No, never. If there is one thing you realize about Tomino, is that he thinks about this a lot. Too much. Definitely too much.
Too much.
But a lot.
Yeah.
And he keeps too much of it close to the chest. But, we'll get into that. So let's talk about, we're here. So when I reached out, I said, hey, I have a couple of these series that I would like people to guest on. I reached out to you guys pretty quick, but you guys were like, hey, we're going to do the ones Nina has seen. So F91 was on that list. What about F91 made you guys want to choose this?
I'm going to be super honest, and part of it, a big chunk of it was that rewatching F91 would take less time.
2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Though it feels longer. It feels so much longer than 2 hours.
It's still going in the back of my mind. When we were putting this together, I felt very bad because I didn't put ZZ Gundam on our list, but as it has no compilation films, I cannot simply ask my coworkers on a bi-weekly podcast to watch 50 episodes, even if it's Judah and Amon having the best time of ever. I can't do that to somebody, you know?
Yeah.
They are having the best time of ever on that show, both of them. Yeah.
No one suffers in ZZ Gundam. Name one person. We're not going to talk about the polls.
I'll give a slightly different and also true answer, which is that for my part, I actually kind of felt unsatisfied by our coverage of F91 4 years ago. We did like 10 episodes on it or something like that. And yet I still came away feeling like I hadn't really been able to say all the things I wanted to say about it. Okay. Not that I'm going to be able to say all of them here either. I don't remember what they were. But it does feel like one. There's so much more to say about this film. It has so many rough edges. It has so many loose strands to pull on.
Now, are you saying that when you finished your coverage, a title card came up that said this is only the beginning of F91 and that this is the sequel that we were promised?
We titled our last F91 episode like this is the end of the beginning or something like that. And a whole bunch of people emailed us like, "Oh my God, are you stopping the podcast? Does this mean it's over?"
All right, let's jump into the production notes and start talking about Seabass and his Gundam F91.
Seabass.
You can't call him that.
Produced in 1991 by, and this is a shocker, Sunrise. Okay? Breathe it in. Okay.
We're all doing it.
The length of the media, 115 minutes. If you watch this on YouTube, which it is on YouTube for free, 2 hours, credits. It's okay. Is this part of a franchise? Yes. Ironically, this is part of the Gundam franchise. This lands at the same time as SD Gundam, and very important to our through line, was produced at the same time as 0083. You know, remember when we talked about that in the production, that they were swapping people back and forth, and it became kind of, you know, a mess? I don't want to know. I'm not going to say which side of that equation was led by Tomino and didn't get completed, but one of them is a full series. This does come before Victory and G Gundam. Unfortunately, we were not going to be covering either of those for the 1 year pod. Victory Gundam, my favorite Gundam besides 0083, and G Gundam. Everyone should watch G Gundam just on their free time, and maybe listen to Mobile Suit Breakdown on it. Production notes. This was directed by Yoshiyuki Tomino, who is known for his work in the Gundam franchise.
The way you wrote that is insane, by the way.
It was written by Tomino and, Nico, pronounce this name.
Okay, hold on.
Tsunehisa Ito?
Thank you. Who is known for the Starship Troopers OVA, Saber Rider, and the Star Sheriffs, and a myriad of Super Robo. I think that's very important that a lot of Super Robo informed this one.
That makes sense.
Now, Wikipedia says that the music was by Satoshi Kadokura, but it's actually by Sadayoshi Fujino, who joined Tomino at Zeta and has been off and on again. I couldn't really find a good, like, who did what music on this, who did leitmotifs, who did what. But both of them were involved in the music in some way.
I'm going to have to correct you here.
Thank you.
At some point in this process, something has been misunderstood. Because Kadokura is the composer. He did the music.
Okay.
What Fujino did was the sound.
The sound.
So all the sound effects, that kind of stuff. That's Fujino's side. And he's been the Gundam sound director forever.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Oh, yeah. He's the guy who goes to the giant list of sounds we use in Gundam and clicks the new type sound every now and then?
Yes,
okay.
he's that guy.
That's
he's
silly
also,
little sproing.
Yes.
He was involved in some like controversy around when
Gundam?
the new translation movies came out because they replaced the voice actor who played 4. And the original voice actor was upset about that. And Tomino and Fujino both sort of tried to pass the buck back and forth between the two of them. And the allegations at the time, I don't know if this is true. I'm not putting I'm not saying this is real, don't quote me on this, but the allegations at the time was that Fujino was having an affair with the new voice actress.
Ooh. Oh, messy.
Yeah, it sounds like
Messy.
anime production in Japan. Yeah. I'm going to say that that's official and is real. I'll take that statement.
Alice is going on the record, no allegedly.
They can sue me. We'll see you in Discovery.
Okay, cool.
So I haven't yet really talked about the animation directors for these shows, because the way that storyboarding and animation works in anime means that they really only have a little bit of latitude in the actual, like, in-scene motion. Most of it's storyboarded out pretty clearly, especially mecha fights in the Gundam series. You can find some cool copies of these in some of the Perfect File books. The animation director for this one was Shuko Murase, who went on to do animation for a lot of Gundam before, and I found this interesting, being brought back to direct Hathaway's Flash trilogy, which is just the people in Gundam who just keep getting reused in different ways. It's like, who wants to be the animation director this time? Who wants to be the story director this time? I thought that was interesting. Second movie is out. I'm seeing it tonight.
Oh boy.
Murase's he's one of my favorite anime directors.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly, though, he only worked on the good part of this movie, which is to say he only worked on the first 24 minutes or so.
Okay.
The like colony attack, that's all him. After that, it's like a succession of different sort of assistant animation directors.
That explains a lot.
Filling in because they were desperate and had to bring on a whole bunch of extra people to try to get the thing finished in time.
Now for the juicy part. When we're talking about F91, we have to talk about this. F91 was originally planned for a full 50-episode series, but disputes between staff and a loud coffee noise here because there's a lot of different stories on this, meant that the first 13 episodes were written and they decided, just make it a movie. Just make it a movie and call it good. Just it's not going to be a thing.
This
the original core team
so
for Mobile Suit
much.
Gundam, Tomino, Yoshikazu, and Kunio, got together to make this. Okawara led the mechanical design coming off his work in Zeta. Shout out to the mechanical directors of Gundam, always doing good shit, except for, whatever the Federation suits in this were doing. We'll talk about those later.
So much, because the whole time I watched this movie, it was giving compilation movie vibes. And so I kept feeling like, oh, did I miss a trick here? Did Alice tell me that this was a compilation movie and I forgot and thought this was standalone? Because we are moving through plot at a clip that makes me think this is for people who've already seen a 50-episode series and just want to hit the highlights. No, this is what there is. Okay, that explains a lot.
There's nothing else. This is it. I think it's very loud. Imagine you're a Japanese moviegoer and you go see this in theater. Anyway.
I know, that's what I was trying to imagine.
What's important to the mechanical design here? They downsized the mecha. So Tomino has come out and said that after the size introduced in Char's counterattack, the Sazabi and the new Gundam, he was like, we're going too big. They need to start becoming smaller. That's what military hardware does. They were originally meant to be 10 meters, but the gun block hits couldn't be made to that scale, so they settled for 15 meters. Don't worry, I brought a visual aid for a podcast. This is the Turn A Gundam, which is the traditional 20-meter Gundam size. This is the F91 kit, which is the 15-meter size.
Never talk to me or my son ever again. I love it.
It's so pequeno. It's so little.
It's so pequeno. The first time, so when I got the F91 kit, I was like, is the scale wrong on this? Because I don't know if you guys watched the movie, but there's like maybe 3 lines in it where they're like, their mobile suits are too small now. And that's all we get on this.
The scale, the fact that there was supposed to be a scale discrepancy does not translate. For me, I was like, these are Gundam-sized Gundams, which does not have a number in my mind. So I was just like,
Gundams.
Well, and at the time, they just made the Gunpla models the same size they had been, but then they erased the 1 to 144 scale and wrote 1 to 100 scale on it.
Ooh.
They didn't
insane.
actually change the size of the kits. They just changed the scale.
That's technique. That's a distributor smoking 3 cigarettes at the same time, looking straight in the faces of the whole team, going, it doesn't have to be that complicated.
Don Draper, is that you?
Whoever made that suggestion definitely got promoted.
Yes. Oh man. So Tomino has been pretty upfront that this is supposed to be a simpler Gundam 0079 that's easier for kids to understand. He would say it's about family matters rather than something complex. The movie was received with resounding shrug, and despite talk of a sequel in every single production note you will find where they said, we're gonna do F92, it never happened. The Tomino did help with the Crossbone Gundam manga, which is a spiritual successor.
Yeah, I guess this is where I should say I've been reading that, and I'm gonna probably write a dispatch about it, because I have a lot of thoughts. But one of my favorite things about the 1 Year Pod is just hearing Tomino talk about his own work. I don't fucking.
we can't talk about the bugs yet, but his comments on the bugs send me to orbit every single time.
I basically feel like every time I read anything Tomino has ever said in an interview that he is like taking the piss. He is just fucking with all of us constantly.
Hey guys, this is where we go around the table and I ask everybody here what they knew about it. Nico and Brian, what did you know about this before I brought it to the podcast?
Nothing. Literally nothing.
Yeah, I could not have said less. I was like, oh, another movie. But I haven't heard about this one. I wonder why.
Interesting.
And I was like, and it was so funny because I'm but a simple layman. I hear the phrase F91 and I think of Formula One for whatever reason. And it's like, I was kind of like, oh, were they trying to do more of a sports angle or what? No, there's just a letter. I've got to stop trying to attribute meaning to the things I'm presented. I have to live in the world of signifiers with no significance.
I have to give you some information that may hurt you.
Do
okay,
it.
Thank you.
Do it.
The official name of this movie is not F91. The official name of this movie is Formula 91, and it does take inspiration from Formula One.
I have never been more valid. I am
in the original series design. They leaned into it so much more. It is so funny how much of the Formula One of it all got stripped down.
And there's no thematic. Like it's just.
Well, they're smaller and faster, like an F1 sports car. Nico, do you get it? Do you get it?
Have you never watched Formula One? They leave those after images behind them as they drive around.
They do. They have shadow clone jutsu.
Is that what DRS is?
If we ever go to the Gundam Museum and write it off somehow, we can't, because I'm going to do something remembered only by the date.
By the way, we do have to go pretty soon because they're taking down the Unicorn Gundam finally. It's finally going down. They're probably going to put up Ariel, though, after, is what people are thinking, so...
I support our listeners in the OSG Discord who said it needs to be the Tournay. I want to see the big mustache.
I would love the Tournay. What if it ends up being something much worse, though?
What if it's the F91 because they wanted to save money?
What if it's the G-Quux?
Yeah, that's what I assumed it was going to be, even though I don't really know how you'd stand that thing up on its own.
A lot of wires. I'm going to ask you two separately instead of my co-host. Nina, what did you know about F91 before I brought it to the podcast?
Before you brought
Yeah.
So I have this hilarious thing where we will spend months covering something and I immediately forget everything about it once we're done.
Yeah.
That's called freeing up the brain space.
So the first time we watched F91, I had seen the cover of the Blu-ray, and that was all I knew about it. I knew it was in the Universal Century Gundam franchise. And then coming into this, I mostly remembered some memes Tom made that I really liked. He did a Cecily version of Hit the Bricks. Yeah. If it sucks, hit the bricks.
Yup.
And he obviously remembered the bugs.
You can't not remember the bugs and the creepy rose, and it's just too silly not to. Tom, what about you? What did you know about F91 before I brought it to the podcast?
I am always thinking about this film. This is my white whale. I truly think I truly think there are so many good elements of it that are just ruined by the bad parts.
Yep.
It's the perfect fixer-upper.
That's a nice way to put it. Like, oh man, I could paint a wall over here. I could get rid of Cosmo, really clean it up, you know? So, what did I know before this? I had seen this twice before this, and that's more than I think it deserves. But
You say that directly to Tom?
When I just like watched so much Gundam, and there's too much Gundam. Everybody has the Gundams that they like, right? Like everybody can point and say that's my special little fucked up Gundam. Like Moon Gundam will be one of my favorite Gundams, but
yes.
But yeah, F91 was one where the 2 times I watched it, I got disappointed. But I loved the design so much I had to buy the kit. Because I don't know, I fucking like him. He's cool. That's it. That's all I knew. So, unfortunately, for the synopsis, I wasn't able to write it. I was unfortunately kidnapped and being groomed to become the next Mineva Zabi. So Brian stepped in and wrote this for me, and I'm just gonna read it as is. It's UC 0123, and you wouldn't believe it, but the Federation is a cruel, warmongering industrial machine willing to do stuff like use children as shields and fire on civilians in an effort to expose a new resistance movement that is definitely not watered down zombie royalism, the Crossbone Vanguard. We join our protagonist, Seabook, Arno, and Cecilia Fairchild as they become embroiled in what unfolds as another future that refuses to change. Cecily is unveiled as a secret child of masked incel Carazo Rona, who attempts to induct her into his twisted version of the human liberation. Meanwhile, Seabok uncovers his mother's old passion project, the F91 Gundam. The Vanguard fractures as Carazo's mass depopulation rhetoric seizes their military branch, and Cecily defects her way back into Seabok's arms. In the end, Carazo's metaphorical unmasking comes with a fleet of anti-personnel genocide devices that are 100% practical and would absolutely annihilate 9/10 of humanity, and Cecily must rally with Arno against her father's insane plan. And with that, we'll head to the break.
What do you have, stranger?
Yeah, you all got any of them podcasts on tap?
Now, why on earth you gotta go and ask a stupid question like that in front of all these nice people?
Now, no trouble, no harm. I'm just a humble mecha enjoyer done crossed the dry lands looking to soothe my parched throat. Ain't mean nothing by it. You come sashaying into my saloon, all flowery words and whatnot, and you want a mecha podcast.
Let me guess, you want one with images on his website and content warnings in the description. Fucking Yankee.
Well, sure, that would be ideal.
And I bet you want one that runs $1 a month Ko-Fi membership for access to a Fast and the Furious podcast that's currently published its first episode.
Well, that's mighty specific, Hoss, but yes, I think that'd do me fine.
Try On the Shoulders of Giants, stranger, where the cars don't fly bomb shot.
Well, goddamn, barkeep, I'll never go thirsty again. Subscribe to our Ko-Fi at ko-fi.com/osgpod. ko-fi.com/osgpod.
This is on me. I automatically translated Seabook into Seabrook because my brain
Me
was
too.
looking for a more
I had a really hard time
word.
with it when in both my notes and these notes. I had a really hard time with it. And the other thing is, I will put that edit in because we're already getting the flood of Kshatriya rage people are feeling after the unicorn episode is valid, and I can't abide by it.
I can pronounce words good.
As someone who's been doing this a little bit longer, no pronunciation will make everybody happy.
No, that's true.
Someone's going to yell at you. Whatever it is, someone's going to yell at you.
Baltrika's children, Balatraka's
Okay, you
Balatraka.
going.
Stay strong and take pride and pleasure in annoying them.
Oh, just trying to remember. Tom, didn't you think Seabook was meant to be like Gaelic, the Gaelic word for hawk or something?
I'm pretty sure I've figured out where Seabook comes from as a name.
Okay.
Stop. This wasn't just made up. Stop.
No, so the Irish word for a hawk is spelled in a way that if you were to read it in English, kind of looks like Seabook. It's spelled like Seabhac.
I see it. Yep.
It's not pronounced that way at all. It's pronounced like shock, I think.
Okay, we all have to pronounce it in the Gaelic fashion from now on.
You don't want me doing a Gaelic
But this
accent.
is not, this is not the last time Gundam is going to take an Irish word and pronounce it. Take an Irish word, make it a protagonist's name, and pronounce it weird. So
as the Crossbone correspondent, Seabook is in that manga, and he goes by Kincaid now, which is obviously a play on Kincaid, which is a Scottish family name. So I think they're just playing that up like really hardcore.
I'm not Seabook, I'm Kincaid now.
Hell yeah. Every time his name came up, every single time I only think of that really bad Sega Dreamcast game, Seaman, where the fish has a person face and you can talk to it. And if you put that next to Seabook 1-to-1, they look the same. That's all I'm saying.
Something really bad. Oh
no. That's for no one but me. All right, so we've broken this down into a couple of different parts because there's kind of 3 narrative acts in a movie. It's this weird thing that they're doing with movies now. Not sure if you've heard of it. But yeah, let's jump into Gundam F91. Part 1. Engineering students Seabach Arno and Cecily Fairchild are caught in the first act of a Gundam story and witness gruesome destruction at the hands of a radical uprising group, the Crossbone Vanguard. In the confusion, Cecily is revealed to be orange-haired baby Hitler 2, the Hitlering, and is abducted by her father and brother to be taken back to her royalist space family, starring the masked bastard of the story, Kakrazo Rona. Arno and his sister Reese, meanwhile, evacuate to a nearby colony and run into the derelict space ark which houses the Gundam their mother helped make, the F91. So, welcome to the Crossbone Zone. We're getting into it.
Crossbone Zone.
I think, Tom, you mentioned earlier that the first 24 minutes kind of are a standout, and I think we can all agree. This is kind of the entire standout of this of the thing.
Yeah, if you fell asleep after 26 minutes, you would have had a great experience.
Yeah, I will say, I didn't take notes for like the first 20 minutes, and then I had to do like a synopsis of my thoughts because I was just watching the damn thing. I was like, oh my god, this is going. And it's immediately more brutal than like most things we've seen in a while.
But before we get to the wanton destruction, we have to talk, which is what ethnic costume is everybody wearing to the Miss University pageant? I will be going as cowgirl.
What the again? Okay, I said this with a previous dress that I saw that was so fucked. Stop drawing dresses in the 90s. They all look so... Why are they all, like, bad interpretations of 1800s ball gowns? They all look so wretched. Anyway.
Hey, let's jump off from there. We have to talk about the style of the frontier colonies and the Crossbone Vanguard. Do you think that it has become so far from the medieval times of Hitler and Vichy France that everything has become kind of Vichy France... Everything has become kind of coalesced into one, like, Ubermensch Reich kind of vibe that they're going for. Like, they have a bunch of different, like, Frontier 4 has the layout and look of DC, like Washington, DC, where they're like, kind of give a grid structure. They're going for it. I don't know. The design of their entire thing gets me each time.
I do think it's design sensibility because I feel like homogenized European aesthetics. Like, just put France, put the UK, put Holland, put all this in a blender, and like what you get as Western Europe feels like it is deployed over and over for especially signifiers of decadence, but like just in general, it keeps being the setting of stuff in a way that, like, when I harken back to 0079 and like Amuro's bedroom where he had just like an 80s, or not an 80s, but like a 60s and 70s boy tech enthusiast room, and people were just wearing like normal outfits and stuff. It's so weird to see the drift in terms of the aesthetics of the colonies. Like, think about Camille, think about like Judao, think about like what people are wearing and what their colony looks like. It feels like we've been moving more and more into this weirdly European space outside of just the decadent areas. I don't know. It's always weird for me.
We're told in the course of this film, actually, that
yes!
the design of Frontier 4 was, like, the Colony Corporation designed it this way because that's how Cosmo Babylonia wanted it to be.
It's
that it was
so
designed in
weird.
a classic style because they were conspiring together.
Which
Well, but Cosmo Babylonia is all about aesthetics, right? It's
Mhm.
all about our
Vibes.
royalty wear military uniforms because
Yeah.
they are, these elevated humans willing to risk their lives for their ideals.
Right. I mean, there's that great scene of Meitzer like talking to Cecily about the importance of risking your life on the battlefield if you want to be a noble. But he's standing there in his smoking jacket on his fake hill in his fake colony, carrying his walking stick like it's a rifle.
It's so.
Or the
I love when he does that.
I love the little detail when they're putting out the Cosmo Babylonia flags, and there are little fans right
Yep.
where the flag attaches so that the flag will wave properly, even in 0G.
That's so funny. I didn't catch that.
F91 is part of that era of Tomino just kind of really leaning into what it means to live into space in a really cool way. Like, the scale of the frontier colonies is on paper the same as the ones in the original series, but they seem like accurately sized in this, the 30-kilometer long O'Neill cylinders.
Mhm.
But I just can't believe that the Colony Corporation would conspire with an evil organization. That's interesting. Why would they do that?
Unprecedented.
Unprecedented.
That's what the money is for.
No, I think part of that is also some of this shot composition here in the beginning is really unique to Gundam. I think we don't get a lot of conflict from the perspective of people on the ground.
Yes.
Which is, I think, also why I got a little bit. I was surprised to hear that the mechs were scaled down because at least in that first bit, like,
Yep.
they seem so big, they're crushing everything around them, and like everything is from the bottom up. In a way that's like really, it feels like the first act of like a Godzilla movie in a way that really, really hits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can we just talk about
that's
it?
real.
Can we talk about the spent shell cartridge hitting a mother on the head and killing her instantly?
Yeah, when you think of F91, you think of a couple of scenes, kid getting thrown against the wall and dying, but specifically the one where a GM cannon is just shooting, and the shell casings are so large, it hits a woman in the head and instantly kills her while she's holding her baby. Radical tone shift from Gundam of the past, where we would just see the pile of bodies, but not the death.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially what got me was the fixation on showing the face and the vacant eyes. That's one of the things, like, you brought up, it's like, Tomino remembers the aftermath of World War II. This is another thing where it's like, we watched the 08th MS team. We've watched a bunch of different things that try to get more down on the level and maybe like grittier in terms of like what does conflict look like. This is the one again that reminds you like, hey, the director of this was a civilian in the aftermath of a war and was dealing with turning people over and seeing that expression. Like, was dealing with things like that. And it comes through.
Mhm.
It comes through very viscerally.
Yeah, that perspective of having things be more from the ground, having things be more on the scale of individual people rather than mobile suits. You have two sides both claiming to be acting for the benefit of all these people, but that first 24 minutes, the vibe is that the people are like ants. Like, these mobile suits are destroying and killing, but they don't even notice the people they're hurting. They don't even notice the people crushed underfoot. They're too busy fighting each other.
Yeah, the comment that we get on it from, hey, can we say it? Finally, a Garma XP is here. Finally, we've got a photocopied Garma on the field instead of just Shars. But he says civilians are future military manpower. It's just say the thesis.
I love the scene here where there's a Cosmo Babylonia mobile suit like drifting through the sky with loudspeakers blaring like, the civilians are not our enemy.
Yeah,
we will not
we
hurt
are
you.
not hurting
Meanwhile, people are being
civilians.
crushed and exploded all around them. And then shortly after this, like one of the first scenes we get with Meitzer is him saying, "When we attacked, I forbid my soldiers from killing any civilians." And like, that's the moment he's completely full of shit, because everything he says after that, it's all colored by that first line.
Cut to, we have to kill 90% of the population.
I know.
Same guy.
No, but Meitzer didn't know about that, right? Like, Meitzer didn't know about the bugs. That was all
There's
Iron
so many
Mask.
factions. Nobody could know what all the factions are doing in the Crossbone Vanguard.
sorry, I have a very small question.
Continue.
Are Cecily's earrings Minovsky particles?
They're psychic. They're psychic.
Oh, are they new types?
I think they're
or
just
the
a homing
earrings new
device.
types?
The earrings are new types.
No, they're 5G.
They're 5G.
I like the idea
Vaccinator.
of a new type thinking that the new type ring is just their earrings vibrating and not them having psychic powers. I
Damn,
like
tinnitus again.
I like a physical things that F91 does that the Gundam franchise does nothing with ever again, which is this is a physical object imbued with new type energy. At the end, he's looking for those earrings to find her. We're not going to do anything with this in the rest of Gundam. There are no more
Oh.
special objects.
So I shouldn't incorporate it into Nutgig as part of like the ghost Gundam sort of
Hey.
canon.
I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt to our guests that they haven't heard your insane theory. Could we just take a sidebar here real quick? And I want Nina and Tom's reaction to the Nutgig theory. If you could tell them what your theory is real quick.
Okay, hold on. I gotta
Do you
pull
need
it
a
up.
minute?
Yeah, I gotta pull it
We
up.
can circle. We
Yeah,
can circle
we'll
back to this.
back to Nutgig. But it is essentially my theory of ghosts being a renewable energy source in Gundam.
Ah.
Because, dear lord, do we do a lot with, like, hauntings and space being haunted, and now, potentially, earrings being either psychic or haunted.
Dun dun dun.
Man. Yeah.
When you say renewable, do you mean because we can always make more ghosts?
Yes.
Yes!
Obviously.
Yep, thank you. I'm glad it makes sense.
We gotta drop a colony, keep the engines running. We need to talk about the mechs in this series, though. And we're gonna start because they're just kind of cooler with the Crossbone Vanguard. So let's talk about them. So their main suits for the Crossbone Vanguard are going to be the XM04 Berga Dalas, the XM05 Berga Gyros, Black Squadron variants, and the XM06 Doggy Iris. Some of the Black Squadron ones will have those weird cyber eyes that look like bugs. Love that. But overall, what are everybody's impressions on the design of the Crossbone Vanguard's units? They're little knights. They got little plate armor on.
They're giving Jinro to me a lot of the time, but I think
I
because
see
of the
that.
eye shape. But I found them a little inscrutable sometimes, and they kind of all blended together. I like the weapon, that like jousting thing that they have. Some of them have.
I think
Otherwise,
it's called
I'm kind
a
of
shot
like
lancer.
Yeah, I struggled with them because I'm gonna be 100%. I'm a mono eye defender till the day I die. I love mono eye, and we've completely thrown that out in favor of what looks like a stall helm with gas mask
Yeah.
lenses.
Yeah.
And for
Mhm.
me, it was evoking a lot of like Nazi uniform. And I mean, there's a lot of evocations in this, including like the director of the museum who goes crazy and tries to deploy a transforming tank against them.
Yeah.
Is just wearing an iron cross.
he's
Like,
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
there's a lot
Yeah.
of weirdness here, and of course, like always, the nobility of Zeon is flirting with the fucking, Reich stuff, always, or outright saying it.
Yeah.
But the mobile suits literally getting like a stall helm and the lenses. Nothing hit for me. This was hilariously the first time that I actually liked the Gundam more than any other mobile suit, which to me is a bad sign, because I don't like the design of the Gundam typically, ever.
Yeah.
So I struggled. I'm gonna be real with you. I love the painter robots that go on the outside of the colony and paint the
Painter robots.
The little guys.
Talking about mechs of
They
all
like
time.
bounce.
So I think when we talk about Zaku variants, I think that these become some of the weakest because I don't think they're Zaku variants. They're very much trying to do a different thing that Gundam really struggles to do a lot of the time, which is not just do Zeon again. And I mean, I think they fail because there's not enough variety in the suits, kind of the damning of the 2-hour runtime. What I do want to talk about is where these came from. We talk a lot about the production in narrative of the mechas in this. Most are from Anaheim Electronics or Zeonic Mobile Corporation. These ones were made by the Buch Concern. BUCH Concern, which was a rapidly rising conglomerate. It started as a junk corporation cleaning up after the 1-year war. And its founder bought a noble name, which you can just do, apparently, and
You
started
can still do
his
that
own
now.
officer Officer Training Academy and Military Corps using the DESA types as a way to be like, hey, we're not making, mechs that can kill people or anything. We're just making construction mechs. And I do want to shout out, they don't show up in here, but the DESA types, which they come from, they're cool. I love a construction mech. But the end goal is that we get kind of a mediocre Vanguard. Like, they have the energy shields, which are the new thing in this, is the energy shields. And they're cool, but I don't know.
Before we move on, I think the problem with the Crossbone Vanguard suits is, like, there's kind of too many of them. You introduced, I think, like 3 or 4 of them, but there's actually, like, there's the Denon Zan, there's the Denon Gay, there's the Abiru S, the Berga Dalos, the Berga Gyros, the Dagi Iris, the Vignagina. Like, none of them are given enough time to shine. Like, and everything in this movie is so detailed, so greebled, so many lines, which looks good, but it takes you so much more time to, like, drink in everything about it. And so when you only see one of these mobile suits for like 10 seconds in 2 scenes of the film, of course you're not going to notice anything cool about it. I didn't know that the Abiru S had one of those, like, metal pinchy claws that Nina likes so much until I was looking up the image of it in preparation for this podcast recording. I don't remember seeing that in the film. There's a lot here to love, but there's there's just too much to be able to appreciate any of them properly.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it when we get more into the narrative beats, but there are so many missing scenes to build up anything to a way that it feels like worth it. Like, these suits defeat 1 million Jeggins, but is that just because they're smaller? We never really see good piloting. We never see any of that. Speaking of Jeggins, we have to talk about the Federation suits. I'm going to talk about 2 of them because I'm calling these the cannon fodder of the series. We have the Jeggin. Wow. The Jeggin is here. Welcome back, Jeggin. Love you. But we also have the dumbest GM cannon variant ever, the F91 G cannon. What is it doing? What is that thing? What is it? I hate its shoulder palisades. It's little guns. It's dumb. That's it. The Fetties showed up with guys.
This does look like a little bit like a race car. I'm seeing the vision a little bit here with the stripes, maybe.
Yeah,
I see that.
Now, do race cars have those stupid guns? No, but
they should. Is that our stance?
I would watch a lot more racing if they had big guns.
Yeah. May I post a Crossbone Gundam mech that inherits a lot of the Vanguard mech design,
I would
but
like
is not
to see it.
crazy. I freaked out. I love this thing. It has pants.
We are thriving.
I'm coming around on the stall.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Hell yeah,
That guy.
Because it looks like it's wearing sunglasses and pants.
Yeah.
Nina, I'm going to send this to you separately since I know you're not in that chat.
Oh my god.
There's one other suit that we need to talk about for this first section, which is the RXR-44 gun tank, which is a museum piece. Designed in about, I think it's like 103 UC or something.
It's funny because they do talk about it as like a transforming era. Like, I really think that's funny because one of the things that I noted when we were talking about, which is the thing we covered that had all the transforming ones? Was that the Zeta compilation? Yeah, okay.
It was Zeta.
Sorry, I've had a shotgun blast of Gundam, sort of a fire hose of Gundam this year. But yeah, Zeta, like, specifically, and I know Zeta predates when they're dating this tank too, but like, it's so clear in the Gundam canon that, like, oh, this is the era where everything transformed, and I thought it was really funny for them to be like, yeah, here's this museum piece. It's one of those weird transforming ones. And I'm just like, I feel it. I
liked
so
that
much.
touch a lot.
Yeah.
And actually kind of like this thing. Alice, what was the rest of your...
My other thought on this is, I think it's neat. This is for you two, but this is developed from the D50C Lodo from Unicorn. So the little Spec Ops guy, it's informed from that. And I like in Gundam when they reverse engineer shit like this. Like,
yeah, that's cool.
That came after this, and they're like, okay, but what informed that?
It's like ironic because basically every other mobile suit design in this movie is a complete dead end.
Yeah.
It never goes anywhere in the franchise. Yep. There's never going to be anything like inspired by the G canon, right?
Mm-hmm.
but that weird little gun tank actually does have an afterlife in the franchise. Somebody saw that, became obsessed with it, and designed a new mobile suit based on it.
This only just occurred to me, but it's kind of wild remembering that when Seabook is driving this thing, he's using like a gear shifter. He's using like tank driving controls, not mobile suit driving controls. There's a gas pedal. There's a brake. There's
the
numerous
classic Toyota recall issue. The gas gets stuck.
The hatch won't close. The crossbone Vanguard is killing you.
Tomino loves when a hatch doesn't close.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, the times people are opening hatches to talk at a distance with each other. This movie leans into contact communication so much just to have people open up cockpits and yell at each other. What are we doing?
Okay, Alice, I'm about to say something that I think will make you very happy.
Yeah, I'm ready.
You know how Heat was really like another run at like Miami Vice, that movie or whatever it was.
It was actually based off a movie he made called LA Story. Anyway, continue.
LA Story. Okay, that's what I was looking for. But you know what I'm saying. He had like a rough draft and then he went to the second draft. This is, having seen Brainpowered. Brainpowered is sort of the Heat to this one's LA Story, which I hate to say. I hate to say it.
Did you really think it would make Alice happy to compare Brainpower to Heat?
Well, I just thought she'd be happy to think about Heat.
To say it in a way of somebody who's seen a bunch of Gundam, Turn A is the Heat to the LA Story of Brainpowered.
But
you need to go watch Turn A.
Themes and character types, because Brainpowered, I mean, what Tomino says about this series is that it's easier to understand because it's just about like family matters and gender.
Yeah.
Like it's like whatever. But like that is so much of what Brainpowered is obsessed with. And like there were so many things where I was just like, oh, I feel like he worked out not getting to do the F91 series, like having this be the dead end through Brainpowered. And it's like, that's so cursed to contemplate, but it is my feeling.
So let's talk about highlights or things that we want to discuss from this first escape of the colony. The thing that I enjoy is that the curator of the museum is an ex-brigadier general from the Federation. He's wearing an Iron Cross from his war museum, and he has gotten 2 guys who work with him to get in the tank with him. I just like his entire sequence. His death when he just dies and they just push his body off is so
what he
funny
deserved.
to me. What was he doing in the Titans era? Nobody's saying it. Me to every Federation pilot here, what were you doing in the Titans era?
Literally, where were you on January 6th at Energy?
I love the background detail that literally the only character from any previous Gundam who has any role in the events of F91 is Job John.
Wait, what?
Job John was involved in the development of the F91.
Job John!
We gotta take naming powers away from these people. I want to talk about the infidelity to fucked outfit pipeline, because first of all, there's how many mom abandonments can we fit in one movie? Oh, my mom left to go to work. Oh, my mom ran away because she didn't want to be with my dad and she committed infidelity. Like, again, like, it's so funny that he mentions, like, as opposed to Char's counterattack, this one handles simpler things. This shit was in Char's counterattack, too. This is, like, the motivation behind Quest Pariah. Like, this is the same, like, family dynamics that he's, like, fixated on. And, as I mentioned before the show, to Nina and Tom, your work on Mobile Suit Breakdown, specifically the episodes A Time and Place to Die and Last Stand in Casarelia, when you did research on like gender dynamics and feminist history in Japan, and specifically the question of like women entering the workforce, like this helped me so much understand why these themes kept coming up as like preoccupations of the time. And like I said, like I went to y'all's podcast to understand Brainpowered, which does this to an extent that is painful. It's here too. And so I was really grateful to have that background that y'all went into, because the family matters stuff that he fixates on in this is so aggravating, and yet it is intrinsic to both Cecily and to Seabook.
Yeah, to talk about the families a little bit, I do want to shout out the little sister Reese. I do think she's unfortunately one of the most developed characters in this series, and her entire plot line is, why are you all doing this? This is awful. And everybody's like, stop talking, Reese.
Nina, it sounded like you had something.
I forget what I was going to say, but I have something about Reese, so that's fine. I had this moment when Reese is telling Seabook that having looked over the documentation for the F91 and the development materials or whatever, that she feels as though she understands her mom now.
Yeah.
Where I immediately got a flash to that Bible passage about, like, you shall know them by their works.
Yeah.
Hang on, I pulled this up. Okay, it's Matthew 7:16, by their fruits you will know them. Which, yeah, this sense of, like, this thing mother created tells me everything I need to know about her. Like,
so this is what she was doing besides raising me. Interesting.
Yeah, it's a real, like, latchkey kid energy. It's a real, like, my parents had to work all the time, but, like, as I get older, I understand their motivations for doing that. But, like, for her at her age, it's just, like, I get to see the compiled efforts of my mother, and so I see it. I really feel like with Reese, they did a really concise stroke to create a character who feels more realized than a lot of the characters in this. But it was frustrating in the sense of, again, like, there's such a preoccupation with what are mothers doing rather than raising their children. It better be making the F91.
Well,
But it's like,
well,
it's specifically mothers, though, right?
Yeah.
Because they
Yes.
had a very caring, attentive father who was at home with them.
He
Yes.
quit
It feels
to be a
super unfair
welder
to him.
so he could be around them more. Like, Dad of the Year, he saves them multiple times.
well, and that it is, you know, pretty explicitly sexist, because if it had been their mom at home and their dad away, their dad would not have been faulted for being absent.
Exactly.
right.
Yep.
Only a mother is at fault for being absent. Whereas their dad seems like he did a really good job. So I don't
And then we have Cecily's parents who, hey, what's the whole Theo
They're
thing
normal.
about? Does
No,
anybody
they're
understand the Theo thing? Like, he was working for them, but also loved her. I don't, what's his goal here? Was he just doing it for money?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. He worked for the Rona family, falls in love with Nadia. They run away together, but then Nadia ends up leaving him too because he's kind of a sad sack. And that's what women do. They just abandon you.
What are you going to do? And nobody could find them. In the 4 frontier colonies, we'll never find her.
Well, and there's a confusing thing that happens later where Nadia comes back and he acts almost like a retainer again, where there's this vibe that it's like, oh, was their elopement, their running away, actually just like and this doesn't go anywhere, but there's a moment where it seems like they're setting this up to be like, oh, Nadia also had a plan that she was deploying, and then it doesn't seem to come to anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Theo is the kind of guy who will do anything for that one girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he is her retainer. He is at her heels and at her beck and call, and when she comes back into his life, he will drop everything to help her.
He's kind of at everyone's beck and, like, this is the weird thing about how pathetic he is, because basically anytime there's a commanding presence, he's like giving his all into pleasing their whimsy in a way that's like very
a
strange.
bootlicker.
Yes.
I don't know. This is like, it's definitely pathetic, but it's also extremely recognizable as a real human type.
Right. Especially
yeah.
in a aristocracy, aristocity way, where a retainer, it's like with vampires, right? You're a thrall because you really want to get bitten, so you're willing to do whatever because eventually you're going to get immortality.
The American mind cannot conceive of a nobility, like an inherited gentry, so we must go to the more understandable vampire.
Well, those things are not extricable from each other in fiction,
know,
so
but,
I think
like,
that's actually fair.
It's so funny. It's like we can only understand the exaggerated version because it's hard to understand this what's referred to as like the feudal spirit, you know? Like this idea.
I I think is horrifyingly understandable in the context of current politics, but nobody wants to think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we're here to talk about. Hey guys, it's awful out there.
When it comes to Cecily's family, I do think, like, we talked about it briefly, but, like, Metzner's obsession with redefining nobility, not as people with an inherited title who may be, I mean, in the famous case of the Habsburgs, like, inbreeding, who may be just people who are clinging to a title that was won by an ancestor who served at, like, Cressy or something, you know, like, these are people who do actions now to justify why you should treat them better instead of what, you know, inherited aristocracy actually is, which is just people who have a title that has been passed down for a while and maybe any kind of person, you know.
Should we do the part 2 thing since most of this is
just real quick, I just want to, my last comment for this entire section is, hello, crew of the White Base. We have 3 snotty kids.
Yep.
We have the firebrand redhead. We have Kai.
Dorothy.
We've got all your guys. They're here.
Tomino loves redheads.
Yeah, I actually kind of like the kids in this too because we see them being, and because the show's not bending itself into pretzels to keep them on the ship for 50 episodes, we see them in a situation that feels prolonged and temporary and not like forced. And I think a lot of the stuff that happens with them is like there's some cool sci-fi stuff, I think.
It's like in the Gundam compilation films, they basically entirely cut out Frau Bo and the kids. I feel like Dorothy got the same cut because it feels like she is the kid wrangler in this one.
Yes,
because
totally.
Tomino loves to have a woman be the kid wrangler on a ship.
I think her going past, I think, Nanto Ruse and being like, hey, they're not my kids.
Yep.
Is probably my favorite moment
She's
in the
got
film.
an earring.
Yeah.
She's a punk mom.
I love that. But I will say another thing as a closing note on this first section. This is the first time I've seen a Gundam that feels like it is, because even with the Titans, like there was complication to it. There was this feeling that like the Titans were almost like a radical faction of the Federation or whatever. This is the first one that feels like they're really trying to say everyone in the Federation is compromised in a way that almost felt like a smear job. Like every time we see the Federation, like there's particularly that one guy who has like the sandy mustache and he like barely fits in his uniform, who's
Colonel
like
Cosmo?
warmongering. Yeah.
Cosmo, yeah.
He's always like jumping in to say something which is on its face objectionable every time we like see the Federation or whatever. And like it's so funny because
you wouldn't know this just from watching the film, but he's not actually Federation.
Oh.
He's like a militia colonel.
He's an irregular.
Okay.
Yeah. There is like Leolie, Captain Leolie and the Manuela.
Oh,
and the
you
little
mean our
training ship. They're
lesbian
cool.
queen, Captain Leolie, and her helmswoman, who I ship every day forever? Hey, we have one female captain of a Gundam carrier, and she is the only one who's like, yeah, we can just be a refugee ship. Let's just put the white flag on.
So,
what
yeah,
are we doing?
That's what I was going to say too. Is like, and this is also part 2, I guess. But the to Nico's point, I think that ship also is like explicitly not like ranked in the military anymore, and so they're allowed to get away with saying things like, actually, we're going to take all these refugees to the moon, which they don't end up having time to do in the movie, but that's their plan, right? They plan to defect, which I think is interesting.
It is all interesting, especially because I feel like if this movie had gotten to be 50 episodes, I feel like this is the one, like my feeling just from what is condensed here, this is the one where I think Tomino is interested in questioning maybe a perception that the Federation was always in the right, and obviously those themes had been present in earlier works, but like this seems so preoccupied with like, what does a Federation in the future where Zeon is almost completely kind of thwarted?
As we know, in UC 100, the Republic of Zeon was dissolved after everything that happened. So like Zeon doesn't really exist
That's
anymore.
what I'm saying. It's like, well, now we have to look at the Federation, like what are the compromised versus honorable versus like what are the priorities of people within the conglomeration we would refer to as Federation forces?
I mean, this kind of happens in the first part, but the Federation literally says, that's the Wild West, let them figure it out. They have soldiers there. They have a garrison that is falling back to Frontier 1 to do a last stand.
And their leadership is literally shown to be on vacation on Earth. That's what I'm saying. Like, it feels like this is the
sipping
series.
cocktails.
Yeah, it feels like this is going to be the series where Tomino, like, puts more flesh on the bones of like what does a Federation look like after the vanquishing of Xenon, and just it doesn't get to happen.
There's a phrase that gets used, I think, a couple of times in Victory, that this is the beginning of the space warring states period.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Where the central government can no longer control. The shogunate exists, but they're not going to stop people fighting because, it's not really worth us getting involved.
It's over there.
There's 3 Jegan pilots on Frontier 4 who get to a corner and open their cockpits to talk, and they're like, we should probably just leave. They planned this. Our bosses do not care. And I love a Fetty pilot who is like, fuck this shit, I'm out. Shout out to Fetty scum. Seabook has his native murder voyage in the F91, and Cecily appears to be all in with the Vanguard after seeing the Federation atrocities, but also sees evidence of early on factionalizing within the Vanguard itself as it occupies the colony. Seabook uses the F91 to briefly meet with Cecily and retrieve his father, who dies of Gundam parent disease. The Vanguard attempts to take the colony Arno's people have evacuated to, but are driven off. That's Frontier 1. Resulting in a reunion between Seabook and Cecily, the latter of whom defects to the space ark with her vagina mobile suit.
Thank you for saying it. My note when they named her mobile suit was the Vignagina? Really? I'm sure there's all sorts of astrological, I'm sure there's Latin roots.
Or it's just a vagina.
Or it's just vagina.
It's just fucking vagina.
I mean, we have Quattro Vagina.
Yep.
Yeah, we do.
We're
So-
there.
I do want to talk about the space arc, which, as Gundam carriers go, this is kind of the most non-starter. This is based on the Klopp class, which I do want to post the space arc next to the Klopp class, which is the ugliest Federation variant ever, as seen from Shur's counterattack.
That's unkind. I like the Klopp.
It looks okay.
Yeah, it looks fine. I like the color on the second one more.
It's no big tray, but
So yeah, let's talk about the vagina. The XM07 Vigna Gina. It's just another Crossbone Vanguard, but white and pink because women. We do this a lot. Mobile Suit Fairy Operation did the exact same thing, but just paint it pink for the girlies.
Yeah.
In a world where the Drock where the Drock exists, why would you not make it hot pink? But then let's talk about the F91. Hey guys, it's time. We have to talk about our namesake mobile suit, the Gundam F91. I'm pointing at it. I'm saying the SNRI Formula Project developed this. Anaheim Electronic was monopolizing, so other people were making them. So this isn't an Anaheim. Pretty exciting thing. And it uses beam weapons and a beam shield. It has cool little hip cannons that I just really, really love. And most of all, it has the biocomputer.
Well, and looking at the chest of it and all the vents, you really see the potential like car influence on the design. It's like the front grille of a car. And I do like its little wingalings on its shoulders.
The little they're technically called what they have a name. It's the multiple construction armor and metal peel off effect phenomenon. Is what those do. So yeah, that's it. Hey guys,
I like the front grille because if you look at it and you see because it has its Vulcan cannon is in its chest, not in its head. But if you look at the front and you see the Vulcan cannon, it kind of looks like a little eye. So it looks like a baleen whale's head coming out of the front of the chest.
Wow, yeah, that's a good point.
It really does.
I don't. I'm also like Nico. I'm also not generally the Gundam is generally not my favorite thing. But I've definitely seen worse. I find this pleasant to look at. This is a note I have later, but I think there's something that speaks to me where there's a lot of more. There's like more rounded shapes going on here. Especially if you compare it to like the RX-78, which I like, and I think the hip cannons are very silly, but I liked to watch them get fired. I think that's fun.
Yeah. So we have to talk about it. Things that got lost in the cutting room floor, the biocomputer.
Yeah, what the hell is the
right.
biocomputer, Alice? Could you please explain
Thanks for
the
asking.
biocomputer?
The biocomputer is a man-machine interface, like the Psychomu system, that was originally intended to help the disabled with mobility devices. But its development was ultimately funded by the Earth Federation forces, who wanted to put
Right.
it as a mobile suit control system. Much like the Psychoma system, this is a way for pilots to get feedback on information, but rather than it being displayed, it's pumped right through to them. It also lets them, do the, hey, I can just act and the mobile suit moves. It's like they wanted to make a mass-produced Psychomu that could work with any pilot, but a new type can unlock it more. The F91 in the production notes is supposed to be a new mass production suit, and there's a mobile suit variation where regular pilots pilot these with the biocomputer.
I really like that, though, because one of the themes that this series is doing is, and it expressed in the quote that I wrote down, is long ago there were new types and they were pretty much miserable individuals. That is kind of the series' position on new types. New types are valuable, but later on, a character says okay, what if we could make everyone new types? I do like the biocomputer coming from actually trying to assist people who are less abled than these exceptional individuals that the new types are positioned as, in a way that it makes sense to me, considering how many projects that want to do good for humanity have to go through DARPA. How many projects are for a specific purpose, but the only way they get funding is by having a military application. I like the idea of the biocomputer as a contrast to the Psychoma.
This is what I actually really like about Seabook's mom's story. I found I don't disagree with the criticisms of how she's positioned in the narrative. I do really like
on top of the suit pointing and saying "Find your girlfriend out in space using the biocomputer" is where she's positioned.
No, but see, I really liked that.
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, we've been saying, there's just kind of too much information in this movie, but because I didn't really pick up on that, and so that elucidates a little bit about her late game protestations about being well, this wasn't really something I meant for you to go out and kill people in, and that's all she's really able to say. But if you just watch the movie on its face, you're like, okay, but you made a Gundam, so what are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah.
But similar excuses from a lot of scientists who worked in nuclear research or, they were like, oh, the only way we could do this research is if we helped them make a super weapon.
I had to make the Nazi super weapon for the Nazis. It was the only way I could get funding for my research.
Yeah. But
that's generally what they say about Werner von Braun, is he just wanted to make rockets go up, and the only people willing to pay him to make rockets go up were the Nazis.
So we have to talk about the other gang. So we've talked about the people on the Ark, but we have to talk about the Crossbone Vanguard, because there's only about 6 of them. We have Char with mask on, Char with eye patch on, Garma Zabi, a kind of an amalgamation of Zabi leaders in Maitza. We have Lala soon, and we have Kruger. You'll never guess which one of... Wait, what?
Who's the Lala?
Anna
Maria, I think.
Oh,
Anna
okay,
Marie.
okay, got it. Right. Yeah.
It's a little subtle. She's brown, but...
Yeah.
When I saw a brown woman, I said, well, she's got to die. It's a Tomino show.
I kind of forgot about her. She had 11 seconds of screen time. But no,
well,
you're
she
right.
has 11 seconds. 8 of those are her turning against the Crossbone Vanguard.
She might only have 11 seconds, but unlike most characters in this film, she has an entire storyline.
Yeah, in the 11 seconds, which was crazy.
Oh, wait, Tom. Oh, damn, I'm so bad about names. The woman who defects to the Titans.
Yeah, I was thinking of her too.
Rekoa. She's
Rekoa, yeah.
Anna Marie is Rekoa.
She has Rekoa hair.
Rekoa.
Well, she has Rekoa energy because the whole reason she defects is because she thinks she's losing the man that she's fixated on.
So can we talk about the fact that he's their instructor? I want to talk about how Zabine is the instructor, all of these pilots, and we're just doing Gunbuster again. I love when Coach is here. I love... Hey, why does Iron Mask wear his mask?
If it weren't for this mask, I would have beaten you to death, which is the first time I posted in my notes, yo, this shit is so ass.
Iron Mask being a super robot level design of a enemy villain is just so interesting to me, because Gundam tries so hard to get away from the super robo allegories, but there's no world where this mask, if you see this guy, you're not like, what the fuck is that guy doing? What the fuck?
In Tomino's original draft for this film, the crest on the top of Iron Mask's mask was supposed to shoot off. It was rocket powered.
Yes!
He could shoot it and it would fly around like a boomerang. I am not joking. That is literally an idea Tomino came up with. And the staff had to be like, sir, this is really stupid.
That's
and
what they
also
stopped him
almost
on?
exactly like a villain from Ultraman.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ultraman!
Yeah.
Hey, Seabok, I know that you're just a kid who was an engineering student, but we all heard that you're the designer's kid, so you're probably a new type and should pilot this. Hey, I know you don't want to, but everyone on the ship is going to tell you to pilot the F91. This is the one time the Gundam Pro tag is shoved so hard in there.
I do like the idea that they're like, well, historically, we've heard the legend of Amuro Ray, who, like, Tim
We
Ray was
watched
his
the
father,
first
like,
2 Gundam shows.
Yeah.
This feels like kind of some backwards looking commentary to me, because there on both Kuroto and Seabook, because Seabook is kind of forced to be an Amuro Ray. Like, I thought it was interesting that Colonel Cosmo was constantly leveraging like the safety of his friends and family to force him to pilot the F91. Whereas one of Amuro's big things in 0079 is that he wants to pilot the Gundam for that reason specifically. And I don't know. I don't necessarily like have like a grand thesis on this. I just think I like that as like a thing, as someone who's sort of in the middle-ish of their career looking back at some of that stuff. I think it's sort of one of the rare successfully deployed pieces of theme and imagery in the movie.
And I think Tomino seems to kind of constantly be contending with sort of generational shifts and trying to understand modern young people, whoever they are at any given time. And so in some ways, these interactions between Cosmo and Seabook feel like him kind of noticing the sorts of pressure adults try to put on young people and how unnecessary it is and overbearing. It's like, he wants to defend his friends. He would probably do this anyway. You don't have to be a dick about it.
Yeah. But I also like the reconfiguring of what a new type is, because this is also when they say, or it may be part 3, but a new type is someone who can grasp the essence of something just by seeing it. Whereas like new types previously had been positioned more as someone who's like psychically sensitive to other people, and that can make you a really good hunter-killer. It can make you a really good soldier, but also like the idea, my feeling from 0079 and later works is that it was supposed to be something that united people, as we like humans like had a diaspora into space. Like this was supposed to be a new sense that would unite us, and instead it's kind of being reconfigured here as someone who just is like a savant. Which I think was I think that was usage drift anyway. I think in Gundam canon it was becoming and has been someone who's just a savant, but this is the first time I remember someone articulating it this differently. You know, one is a miserable person, and 2 who's someone who's just really good at getting stuff.
It's actually just autism, but I mean, I like your idea too. Seabok is a pilot. He's piloting. Is he a good pilot, or is the F91 a Gundam? You decide.
Well, the most important thing is, okay, this is where we get to bring up Nutgig, because the most Gundam thing that can happen is when your dad dies in your Gundam. And I have to think that conferred some sort of spiritual energy that allowed him to be an even more excellent pilot based on the principles of Nutgig, which I finally pulled up, which are just like, the general idea, to distill it, is that in the Gundam universe, ghosts are real. The Earth is chock full of ghosts, but space is less full of them, thus creating a space-noid-Earth-noid divide. New types are more possible with space travel because there are fewer ghosts, so there are clearer psychic channels. And because ghosts are real and exert proximity-based effects, Gundams in close proximity can use them as fuel, and depending on birth rates, they are a renewable fuel source. So, it's so funny how much the death of people and the focus on who is willing to shed blood for their cause ennobles and thus enables piloting in this weird way. Like, I don't know. It's not as clear here as it is in other works like Zeta, but it's a theme that I feel like Tomino can't bring himself to get away from.
Nina and Tom, do you think we can harness the power of ghosts in space? What are your thoughts on this?
I think you probably need some sort of specialized technology like a biosensor to be able to do that.
Yep.
But I think it's a viable option.
The main snag, to my mind, the main snag in using ghosts as renewable energy is the new type generally benefits from having had some kind of personal relationship with the ghost. But since teenagers of all stripes, but especially teenage boys, are going to inadvisably fall in love forever, I think we're in good shape there.
Yeah, that's true.
This is why Camille was the most powerful new type.
Wow.
Yep.
Interesting. So
I want to. Something's been rallying around in my brain for a few minutes now. Since you first mentioned it, I want to put my quarter up. I have something to say about Meitzer's ideas about nobility.
Yes.
Whenever we get there,
let's get into it. Let's talk about. I think we need to talk about it in a way of like what Gundam is trying to do with classes of people and trying to put them into different funnels. So yeah, just jump in on it, Tom.
The struggle I have with this is that the film itself is at war with its own themes constantly. It cannot make a consistent point without undercutting it somewhere. Like we were just talking about Seabook and how like it's the pressure that's being put on him by everybody, and his like Cosmo is constantly trying to force him into the cockpit and all of that. But then there's also that weird scene where Sam is like, "Oh, if you don't want to pilot it, I'll pilot it. I'd love to pilot it." Seabook is like, "No, it has to be me.
Yeah.
You have a death wish."
He said, "You're the Kai of this series. You can't get in the Gundam. Get in the gun cannon and like it."
There's just like, there's a ton of stuff like that where you think the movie is making some kind of point and then it just like cuts it out. But with Meitzer, like, it seems pretty clear to me that he's full of shit. He talks about the idea of nobility as like a superior class of people who, because they're willing to put their lives on the line, because they're better people, we make them nobles, we imbue them with power and authority, and they get all the nice stuff. But within the Crossbone Vanguard, the whole story of Anna Maria is that like she knows that she will never be on the level of the born nobles because she has had to work her way up. Even though she's a great fighter and willing to put her life on the line, she understands that in the system Meitzer has created, she will never be their equal. But also, Doral Rona, the Garment.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's older than Cecily. In theory, he could be the heir. They wouldn't need to go through all this trouble to get her and make her the idol and make her the queen, except he's not actually a Rona. He's Karatzo's son from a previous relationship. He's only Cecily's half-brother, and therefore, no matter what, he can never be on the same level as her.
Noble blood is fucking crazy, especially when you realize that Meitza's dad is who started this. We're only four generations into this dynasty, and they're acting like it's caked in blood. Like, they have to follow these bloodlines.
Meitzer didn't inherit a noble title. He inherited shares in a corporation.
And then they bought
He's
a title.
the CEO of Aristocracy, Inc.
Yeah.
This is, I was thinking about this from earlier, I forget who said it, but talking about Meitzer kind of trying to redefine the idea of what aristocracy is. But it felt to me like a lot of what he's doing is super in keeping with just how monarchies justify their own existence. Like any monarchy in our history in the world. Because at some point, somebody or a couple generations of somebodies, generally through the use of military force, took some territory and said, okay, we are the kings of this now. But every subsequent generation that didn't have to do that had to come up with reasons why people should still treat them as king. And a lot of it winds up boiling down to, oh, we're this like a beautiful example for people to follow.
Yeah.
We are this like, we're held to this different rarefied standard of comportment and behavior. And so people can look up to us. And it's all about the pageantry and the image that they create. And that's why it's so perfect for them. Like, we want you to be our beautiful young woman figurehead.
Yeah, noblesse oblige, yeah.
I also want to talk about the valences of fascism that they wear so very loudly. Tomino evokes images of strong fascists in a lot of his villain characters and his villain designs. And, like, that's cool in space, but I feel like, imagine you're a person on Frontier 4, and one day some guys show up, blow a hole in the colony, and hang up a bunch of flags that have 2 bones and a sword. We haven't talked about the Crossbone Vanguard's sigil, which is 2 bones and a sword, by the way. And then they're just like, yeah, and look at us. They literally say, we're going to do the 1,000-year Reich. They literally say that. And Tomino plays with these ideas, and he gives a whole speech to this guy who's like, when revolutions happen, this is what happens. We need a figurehead. We need an idol. We have to put a Mineva Zabi. They dress her up like Mineva Zabi when we first get her, which is insane.
She cuts her own hair into Mineva Zabi hair, which I was like I mean, I guess as a symbol of her, quote unquote, accepting her role, I guess that's a compelling image. But yeah, that was very whatever.
I don't know.
I guess with Char's counterattack, there were a bunch of fans who were like, where's Mineva Zabi? Why didn't she appear in the film? Maybe this is Tomino being like, fine, you want a film with Mineva Zabi in it? Here's a whole film with Mineva Zabi. Choke on it.
And then if you just like turn these characters slightly, it's just another of the same story of the same characters in Gundam. So I like that they didn't do that, but I don't know.
Do we want to move on to part 3?
Let's do it. We have to talk about it. Oh yeah, he learns how to pilot the F91, blows up a bunch of guys, and they're like, wow, he's so good at piloting. How is he faster than a Jegan? Because he's 75% of the size of a Jegan. That's the key. Part 3, Seabook and Reese reunite with their mom, and Corazzo activates his super weapon fleet of evil Beyblades.
Yep.
After curbing some of their destruction by using them as decoys, Seabook and Cecily confront Corazzo in his Rafflesia mobile armor. Seabook manages to save Cecily, and the state of society is left fairly ambiguous as Seabook and Cecily drift around in front of the moon and the F91. We just have to talk about the giant evil weapon in this one. The bugs. Okay, don't worry. They won't damage the colony. Cut to them shooting lasers and causing explosions everywhere. Got to talk about Tomino.
Classic.
This is what I wanted to circle back on. So in talking about the design of F91, he wanted this to be more readable to children.
Sure.
And originally, they were going to gas Frontier 1 like they did Side 3. However, he felt that kids couldn't understand what a gas attack would be. This is before the sarin gas attack in the Tokyo subways, so like the closest that they have is like Vietnam white phosphorus. So I kind of get that, but instead of any other kind of culling device, we get spinning bug Beyblades. Nina, what are your thoughts on the Beyblades?
I find myself thinking very silly, nitty-gritty questions like, what is the size range? Because we see them of a few different sizes, right? Some of them are huge and tearing through the sort of external environment, but then there's some of them small enough to go in through a window and kill people in their homes.
I think the bigger ones are called like mother bugs.
So there's two kinds. So basically, these are... They're nanomachines. They create more machines by existing. And the mother bugs
that's a great idea.
create little bugs. And that's why you get the two sizes. So you have the mobile suit size mother bug and then the baby bugs that go in and kill people in shelters.
Wow. I mean, I knew there was a reason I didn't like Beyblades.
Let them rip.
I don't think I've ever heard that quote from Tomino about using the bugs instead of gas because they would be more understandable to children.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
I'll get my source on that, but when I was reading of why they chose this instead of the original gas attack, I was screaming.
So what he's not saying here that I happen to know from when we were covering this is basically Tomino fired the scriptwriter. I don't know if it was an official firing, but like Tomino took the script away from him and rewrote it. And Tomino couldn't come up with an ending.
Stephen King problem.
They get to like June 1990. He doesn't know how to end the film, and so he calls an all-hands meeting for the whole staff of the film and is like, so anybody got any good ideas about how to end this? And the bugs come out of that meeting.
And they didn't.
Somebody on staff was like, Beyblades?
Hey, remember when they explain why they have to kill 90% of the population? Oh, you neither? Me? Because I don't remember that part.
Well,
but we got to
the
kill
eco-fascist
95%.
shit. So this is the thing that is always so frustrating about trying to figure Zeon. And of course, in this case, successor factions to Zeon. Which is that, like, something that Char articulates as Quattro Vagina and then as Char is this idea that humanity needs to leave the Earth. We overburdened the Earth. Now that we have space colony technology, we have to leave the Earth to recover from us. There's this
For 1,000
eco-fascist
years.
narrative. Yeah. But then there's also the liberation narrative of like, we are the colonies and we're being exploited by the decadence of Earth, and so we need to have liberation from that. Again, like, there's so many different muddled motivational through lines that happen trying to figure the villainy of Zeon or whatever the oppositional faction is to the Federation, that like, it makes sense that they would go back to this well in lieu of actually having an ending that satisfied the themes of this film. But also, it's frustrating because, again, it's another self-defeating narrative. Like, it's another, like, this doesn't actually mesh with anything that you were saying or confront any of the central themes that seem to be articulated at the beginning of the movie. It's just like picking from the hat of justifications. And it is really frustrating. Yeah. And the bugs just make it comical,
silly, and frustrating. Yeah, one of the most frustrating and slightly comical scenes in the movie is when Nadia basically says that to Karaza, right? She's like, what are you talking about? Like, you're saying this thing and then you're doing this thing. What do you actually mean? And he can't answer that. He basically just says, you cucked me with your rancid pussy magic, silence breeder, or whatever. And I like, the movie doesn't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with that. I want to like Karazo because I think his design is so silly and like weird and cool. I love the Rafflesia so much. You all already know. Let's talk about it. Out.
So, what?
Oh, wait. So I just wanted to say before we talk about the Rafflesia, because it is amazing. One of the things that I've concluded over many years of covering Tomino Gundam is that he often uses these shows and movies to work through ideas about which he doesn't actually have a conclusion yet. He's more processing than he is trying to send a message.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, it does feel like that.
So Malthus was the guy who came up with the idea that the Earth has a carrying capacity. And Neo-Malthusianism, so like thinking about that and thinking that, all of humanity's problems would be solved if we just got the population under control, was really popular with Tomino's generation, like really popular in the 60s and 70s, even among even among lefty people and very like liberal people. This idea that, we really have to get birth rates down in poor countries was like really pervasive. And he seems to really struggle to let that idea go. Like, even as he acknowledges the horrors of actually implementing it in any way.
It does feel
he can't see another solution.
Yeah, because I remember studying some of this as like an extension of like race science and eugenics specifically implemented. I'm thinking about forced sterilization programs that America implemented in some of its protectorate territories. Like, they'd just go into these areas where brown people were having too many babies and say they were giving vaccines and sterilize people. And like, it's an extension of that thinking, but it's given like a greenwash, right? Because now it's like, well, we're not just doing this because we're racist. We're not just doing this because our birth rates are down and people we find undesirable's birth rates are up. It's actually because the Earth needs us to kill people. And like, it's so funny it's being so mainstreamed. We saw this during COVID with the whole nature is healing narrative that people were posting about a lot. Because on the one hand, less human activity did allow certain natural things to bounce back a little bit. We saw less CO2 emissions. But like, that's not a reflection on the need to destroy all of humanity. That's a reflection on, should we take a look at how we are existing as a society? What our machinery is? How do we structure our cities? How do we do this kind of stuff? But like, I do feel like it's been like defanged, this idea of, well, we need to be kind to the Earth, that comes out of the fascist narrative of overpopulation, that comes out of this fascist idea that there isn't enough to go around when there provably is. But it's been so normalized that anyone can go, oh no, that makes sense. That's an eco thought. It's an eco-fascist thought.
So to talk about ecofascism and all of it, like, this movie does something that a lot of the other Gundams don't do, which is they're like, hey, there's 2 million people living on Earth still. Most of them are Federation fat cats who are going to continue to destroy the Earth. And Tomino really doesn't talk about the classism in like a money way kind in all of his media. It's usually about like space noids versus earth noids, or like the zombies versus the fetties. But something that we touch on a lot in the different series, especially like Hathaway's Flash, is that the Federation Fat Cats are used as an allegory for the oligarchy class, and that Char's entire thing is there is no compromise with those people, we have to force them off of Earth, because if you give a capitalist a cookie, he is going to mine Earth to destruction, right? Yeah. So you can't let the capitalist do that. But he never really interrogates this, or has he never puts forward a signifier of this movement who can vocalize that it's a specific caste of the hyper elite who is causing all of this. Not to talk about Mark Curran, but I was thinking about the final...
We gotta bring up G-Savior. This is a certified G-Savior moment.
So this one talks about like, you know, there are limited resources. We need to put people into space colonies because that's where we can put people and we can kind of let Earth refill. But G-Savior is the only one that's like, hey, at the core of this all, there are a finite amount of resources, even with expansion into space. And as long as there is a controlling oligarchy who wants to keep that and keep the status quo, we can never get rid of that. And the Crossbone Vanguard is just another other faction. It's just another, you know, flare-up of an ideal or an ideology that, hey, this isn't okay. But once again, falling to the fact that at the end of the day, people will yearn for power, men, and will rise and become fascists.
Yeah, and I feel like that's well articulated in terms of Anna Maria's brief arc and death.
Oh, can we talk about real quick? Hey, here's Anna Maria. She's in charge of the recon squadron. She sees her favorite captain, Quattro Bagina, but with an eye patch, give flowers to a girl once and says, fuck this, I have to turn sides and kill you.
It's Requiem mode time.
Luckily... on the Ark, they have a lot of gold paint so that we can do the Hakushiki.
It's yellow. It's so banana yellow. It's killing me.
Yeah, they paint her yellow, they deploy her, and she dies instantly. Thank you for showing up, Anna Maria.
It's so frustrating because she's positioned as, like, hysterical. Like, and then the articulation that Sabine has about her. I wanted to get at this fascist tendency. The first thing he says after she dies, a woman who ostensibly he trained and has fought with repeatedly, humans who can't deal with their emotions are just trash.
Yes. Yep.
And it's like, yep, there it is.
Sabine has a bunch of lines that are along that vein. He also says about Cosmobabylonia as a structure. He also says they don't mix personal feelings and ideology. Motherfucker, that is literally all they are doing.
It's the cock empire. Your guy is mad because his wife left him.
Something I find interesting about him as a character is he's the instructor and kind of like the hot shit pilot. He's 24. He was born after every major UC event. He doesn't know shit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the raffle.
I hold on. I have a question. Why do you think the narrative positions Anna Maria as hysterical? Because that was not the impression I got at all.
It's because of the way that Sabine characterizes her after the event. It's like, unfortunately, he gets the last word, and his last word is she was overcome by her emotions, and that is such a narrative.
But I think we're supposed to know that he sucks. I think we know that Sabine sucks.
Well, yes, but unfortunately, this is also a movie that is so critical of women's decisions. And, like, whether that's infidelity, whether that's prioritizing your career, whether that's, at one point, one of the soldiers criticizes the young women who were taking care of the baby they found off the woman's corpse by going, why would you bring a newborn into this? And, like, we know as an audience that they had no choice. It was leave the baby to die or bring it with you. But, like, over and over, the choices and the comportment of women are criticized. And so for me, as a female viewer, it's like, you know, first of all, anytime a woman is overcome by her emotions, it is evoking that literal diagnosed, medicalized idea of hysteria. Like that women just would have these...
Well, which even gets invoked. Doesn't Seabook's dad say that after Reese was born,
oh yeah, Monica became
was
hysterical, and the only solution was for her to go back to work?
This movie is so critical of women and especially their emotions and their motivations that, like, I get that can be read as like, oh, this is how we know Sabine sucks. But unfortunately for me, it reads as like, oh, this is the last word on this character. And I know that's not actually what the movie or any of Gundam works necessarily mean. They always tend to prioritize love is the force that wins, reach out with your emotions, we can connect. Like, that is a core of the series. But unfortunately, women end up being positioned as people who make bad decisions because of this desire to connect. And it drove me a little bit crazy. This was another place I actually went into my meme folder and just pulled out the panel that's like, this shit is so ass. Because I was like, I'm so tired of this hand being played over and over and over, especially any female character. Especially because this really did just feel like, let's take another run at Rekoa.
I really liked Anna Marie. I liked her storyline. I liked her as a character. I thought, she has that moment in the battle. Like, she gets emotional. She lets her emotions run away with her, but it's her desire to like kill Sabine personally that is the mistake that she makes there. Because right before the scene, they do this like lovely little humanizing moment showing her like connecting with the kids. I think she's a character we're meant to like and respect.
I like and respect her. I just hate that there are two women in the Crossbone Vanguard and both leave because they have emotions and feelings. And everyone else in the Crossbone Vanguard is like, I am a stoic man with no feelings.
Yeah. And it's not emotions.
That's just fascism,
yeah,
though.
But it's not emotions or feelings about the ideologies that they're dealing with necessarily. They tend to be anchored on men. And again, like, it doesn't make me happy to see a woman humanized by having children put in front of her. Because that is always the thing that happens.
I do think that there's a lot of stuff at the end with Seabook's mom that ameliorates some of the raw, because in the 1 year pod, I'm also feeling just like I want to like the thing with Anna Marie, but like it's been since January basically a constant death march of basically this same plot happening over and over again. So I'm a little bit poisoned by that.
Welcome to Gundam.
I was just gonna say the thing that strikes me both about Anna Marie and Monica and how they're depicted, and that is the fly in the ointment kind of a lot of the rest of it, is it's all very personal. Like, Anna Marie leaves because she sees Sabine not even just leaving her, but leaving her for his own personal political advancement.
He wants to marry into royalty.
Exactly. She doesn't care about this big Crossbone Vanguard project. She doesn't care about loyalty to her fellows. She doesn't care about Cosmo Babylonia. She's pissed at this guy, so she's going to turncoat and try to kill him and maybe herself too. And that's all so personal. And then, so it feels selfish in a way that some of the other
Which
stuff
is really interesting
doesn't.
that, I mean, like, talking about male and female relations, like, family destroyers are men in history. Women really don't do it, but in Tomino's world, it's the women who are ruining everything, and it's so loud.
Just that, like, once Monica is in a position of being around her kids again, like, practically, we know she could have been communicating with them this whole time and presumably visiting and maintaining some sort of relationship. And for some reason, that didn't happen.
Minovsky particles. She couldn't call them. Too many Minovsky particles.
I was just to say, then once she's around them again, her desire to like connect and to be loved by them feels so pushy and tone deaf and selfish.
Yeah, I like her as a character, but it's interesting to see her positioned oppositionally to Nadia, who, like, if you want to talk about like why did mom not call? Nadia had a legitimate reason, which is that like the fascists were trying to find her. And so it's like, okay, you can kind of understand why, you know, Nadia, again, she's stuck in this plot of like, you left your husband or whatever, but like her cutting off contact makes a little bit more sense when you see what they immediately try to do with Cecily, like how they immediately try to deploy her. But then again, like, we have two mothers on opposite sides, so they are kind of positioned as diametric opposites. Arno is out of communication, doesn't even send a card on Christmas, which will resonate with our brain-powered viewers or whatever. But like, she's positioned in this way that like there is no real reason why she couldn't have called or come home to visit on winter breaks or like taken vacation and come to see that. She was just so into this family. And it does feel like she's trying to make up for lost time in the context of something that interests her in a way that feels self-serving. But I have to say, because I'm sure our listeners were like, damn, Nico, you're being so critical. I am happy they MILFed that thing. I love to see a MILF designer come back.
And it kind of looks like she's got something going on with Captain Leah Lee.
Yes,
I think that's promising. Yeah. If we take Tomino at his word that this is supposed to be a story about families, that this is supposed to be like a personal narrative about family, then I don't think all the selfishness and the personal elements, I don't think those are problems with the characters. I think those are very important to them. The problem with the film is that it is not that thing. It is not a simple story about families and like personal relationships. It becomes a genocide narrative. And once you get into being a genocide narrative, then it becomes all about like big picture stuff. And these more intimate, complicated, messy character dynamics, they don't fit.
2 things about Monica. Number 1, love a fail girl. She is riding that bicycle and hits the one thing on the road and falls over. Love that. Number 2, anybody else reading like post HRT Camille with Monica? Anybody else reading?
Okay,
like she's finally transitioned.
You went in a different direction than me, but I did see. I was restraining myself earlier because I did see in my notes. I can't remember. I can't figure this person in my head. But at one point I wrote that there is a bridge officer aboard, an unnamed bridge officer aboard the Space Ark that looks like Amuro if he had gone on estrogen.
The pilot girl.
Manuela.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we all agree then, because we instantly knew who I was talking about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Without question.
When you said Camille on HRT, I thought you were going to say Minmi, the medic.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's for Masume if they didn't fuck her up.
Okay, hold on, Alice. It's Murasame. You made me put the Uma Musume music in our last episode because you kept saying for Masume.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, the show also says it's for the woman. So,
we have to talk about the raffle. Hey guys, let's go to the raffle. This is the most super robot mobile armor we have ever seen in any Gundam ever. What does it look like? Thanks for asking. It's an open rose with 5 funnel arms, and at the top we have this little dome. What do we have in that dome? We have Iron Mask. What do we have? Iron Mask hooked up to 17 noodles at any given time, and it's shooting noodles everywhere. What are your guys' thoughts on the mobile armor of all time?
I mean, I think it looks like a Rafflesia, right? That's like the the operating principle here. I want it to wrap me up in its vines and take care of me. I love this thing so much.
I immediately couldn't get over the fact that it looks, and I mean, I'm 90% sure that somebody on the Nadesco team just saw this thing and was like, ooh, I want to fuck around with this shape more. Because the tulips, the Jovian tulips in Nadesco, the dimensional gates, are these like bulbs that open out and they have like the weird tentacles. Like there's so much of this, like, I really like that kind of like weird design element that popped up. I'm really into it. I couldn't find like any good images of the tulip. So
what was that, Tom?
I was just asking, do you know who did the mecha design for that show?
No, not off the top of my head.
I'd have to go back to my notes. My note on this, besides everything that happens with this is the dumbest thing that happens with this, is that in the seminal anime Gundam Build Fighters, which you all know about.
Spoilers.
Quick, Nina, cover your ears. There's a trio of, there's triplets that pilot one of these, and they fucking suck. And it's always funny. One of my favorite episodes.
Okay, I have the through line. The mechanical designer on Nadesco was Miki Akitaka, who was a mechanical designer on Double Zeta, and definitely came out of this, also worked on Stardust Memory, so definitely was in the Sunrise wheelhouse, and so would have been handling looking at this design some. I love born or died 1991, born when Nadesco came out. Welcome back, the Rafflesia. I love it.
I also get a lot of Neo ZL from 0083 in this. I see a lot of that like pokey bits. You don't need legs in space. We're saying it all the time here.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I love a non-humanoid mobile suit.
Yes.
I think there should be a lot more of them. And here, they're a little heavy-handed with it, but it ends up kind of being synonymous with Carozzo, like, killing his own humanity and becoming less human so that he can then go out and kill 9/10 of humanity. Like, I've been tasked with this thing that no human person should ever do, so I'm not really human anymore. Here I am in my
given up
giant
my
flower
human.
machine.
If I take this mask off, it would be even worse. Instead, I'm just going to use these noodles with chainsaws at the end. By the way, its main weapon, all those noodles have chainsaws or are there to, like, control other mechs. It's okay, but the scene where he gets out of the cockpit briefly to touch his daughter in the middle of space, what are we doing? What are we doing, Gundam F91?
Gundam.
Tomino wanted to end this film with Seabook and Cecily popping their visors and kissing his
100%.
face. He had to be talked out
It's
of
hard
it.
vacuum out there, brother.
Yikes. One thing I do really like in all of this is we get kind of the same thing that was happening with Seabook with regards to Amuro earlier, but with Carozzo and Char, which is there's a lot of like talking about how the mask figures into his ideology. And one of the things that I think either Cecily or Seabook says is a man can't do anything without his mask, says he'll change the world, which I feel like is a really kind of biting, can be read as kind of a biting commentary on like the fandom response to Char. And I think I talked about this in our CCA episode too, is there's like kind of a runaway train with the Char ideology that CCA really wants to talk about. And I liked that being presented here as like, this guy is actually just a chump. I liked that angle on it. I like that we don't see him take off his mask and he loses. And I like that the F91 activates its cool mode by taking off its own mask with like the faceplate remove thing that it does.
He's put on the mask in order to separate himself from other people.
Right.
In order to deaden his emotions and not feel that connection, not feel the pain of connecting to other people and being hurt by them.
That's especially underscored by the fact that it's revealed in this scene that he was a forced cyber new type. Like, Metzer wanted him to be a new type and had him go through cyber new type stuff.
Reconditioning, which is where I'm sending you after this episode, Nico. After what you've
Again.
done. Again, I gotta send you back. You haven't figured it out yet. So this last fight is cool. I do want to talk about exactly one thing that F91 does in the Gundam franchise that no other Gundam has done, which is, hey guys, you see this reactor, this little micro Minovsky reactor? You can shoot it, and it makes a very big explosion. And literally one person, and her name is Cecily, has figured this out. And that's how we win, is you just use a dead Jeggins reactor to blow it up. I love it. More people should be doing this. The 08MS team talks about this when they go into the tunnel, and they're like, it would really suck if one of these blew up. And meanwhile, Cecily is like, I'm just going to actively shoot this. Who's going to stop me? The cops?
Well,
I am the cops.
This is, because those two series were happening at the same time, I do feel like this is the writer's room realizing that while the Antarctic Treaty bans the use of nuclear weapons that are developed as like warheads, every mobile suit is a nuclear weapon. And, like, you know, it's really funny how it shows up in both shows. It really does feel like somebody in the writer's room yelled it, and then both shows were like, oh, let's use this.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole arc of Victory where they're obsessed with this idea.
I really enjoy the concept of it because when you think of Mobile Suit Gundam, the original, all I can ever think about is in the space battles, just plumes of pink reactor explosions constantly from 1,000 dead GMs. And like that technology was lost after the 1-year war, I guess.
The pink explosion technology, yeah.
They figured out how to make it not go critical any time a GM is looked at. And honestly, that was the best thing that they could have done.
So actually, I think there's actually a diegetic explanation for this.
Oh, yeah.
Which is that when they... No, I'm like 95% certain this is the case. When they made the reactors smaller, they made them less stable.
Oh,
that makes sense.
Here's my curse thought. Everyone on Frontier 3 very mad at me for hosting my gender reveal. which I did execute by putting colored powder in the reactor of a mobile suit.
Oh my god, it's a girl! So, we finished the fight. Hey, you remember how we got this shuttle at the beginning that we've been sticking on? We're just gonna do the end of the original Mobile Suit Gundam again.
Yep.
Is that cool?
Hashtag
We're gonna have a
my
kid
tube.
point, new Typely. But this time, Mom's here to tell you how to use your biosensor. I think it kind of loses a lot of weight that she stays on that mobile suit when they go and find her. I think this is a cute reunion in space, but we're just doing the same thing. It's a Gundam ending, guys.
And again, they have a run at it again in the Zeta compilation movies, because this is the same ending we get in that. So it really
That
does
did it
feel
better.
like
I don't know. I mean, so this stuff I really like all this stuff with Monica though. Like I like that she's able to showcase the better parts of her technology. I like that she's able to show Seabook and the audience like the controlled side of what the stunted man-child of Sabine and Iron Mask try to get at, but ultimately fall short of, which is like, what is the balance between my personal feelings and the emergent like conflict at hand? I like the plot of Gravity happening to Cecily. I don't know. I liked all of this. The only thing I didn't like is like we've been talking about, this is not an ending. I mean, the movie literally says
it's
that.
just the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very sad that we didn't get a sequel to this, or this wasn't made into a full series, because what we got is just this kind of half-finished thing that exists in the UC franchise. The reason I wanted to bring this to the table, one, I love the F91 just as a design of a mobile suit. He's a cool little guy. Number two, I love the Crossbone Vanguard. They're stupid. Probably my favorite UC villain of all time. And number three, there's just mediocre Gundam out there. Like, there's so much of it. It's not all going to be good. It's not all going to be fleshed out. Sunrise is going to cut funding or pull back production costs on anything. We're going to get just kind of spin-off Shaft that's just all around us. And that's what F91 is to me.
Yeah. And just another quick Crossbone Gundam moment. I started reading it because I was so dissatisfied with this ending, and Crossbone was written with Tomino's notes, right? So like there's some amount of like continuation there, but Seabook is like a totally different person. Sabine is a totally different person. The only character that kind of retains some semblance of the way they are portrayed in this movie is Cecily. But so basically my point is, like, if you're looking for more, there is more in this world that's not quite jumping all the way to Victory Gundam, although I think the Crossbone manga sequels are basically almost there. That mangaka has not stopped writing them, and I don't know if he ever will if Sunrise doesn't stop him.
There are a couple of those, just like, I love UC manga because they just exist over here and we're all not going to talk about them, but there's entire plots that are happening. There's one 08th MS team happening every year in the UC with a giant super weapon and another Gundam prototype, and they're just all out there. Well, that's F91. Any final thoughts? Any things that we didn't really talk about? Any like general themes that we want to discuss? Does anybody actually like Seabok? As far as Gundam Pro tags go, he's all the way down here for me. Like, I do like him. He's down here.
I thought the tuxedo character who was doing the pageant announcement in the beginning was going to be our Gundam.
Oh, you mean
boy.
Dwight Camry?
Yeah,
from Turn A Gundam.
Dwight Toyota Camry. I thought that man was going to be our pro tag, and then he just vanishes like halfway through. Goodbye, my man.
He's there the whole time. He's in the group. He's one of Seabook's friends.
He vanishes.
He drives the space boat, thank you, which is my favorite character.
That's so true. You know what? He is the bus driver for the kids.
Do you think, okay, real question, do you think the space boat's giant arm makes it qualified as a mecha for the discussion in the way that the gun take has arms?
Yes, because I want to cover Outlaw Star one day, and I have to be the lawyer and stand to my principles and say that if we're going to cover Outlaw Star, this has to count.
It's ball. It's basically ball but tube. I'm going to be real with you.
Yeah.
It's
ball again.
Stretched out
my last
ball.
thought that I really want to talk about is, do you guys think that when Reese made her little shrine for her dead dad and then handed her mom a briefcase, was that her dad's remains in the briefcase?
What?
Well, they say that they're going to bury him in space, and then they're like, no, you can't do that. And then she makes a little shrine where she has a little briefcase that she prays to. And then when her mom shows up, she hands the briefcase to mom.
Okay.
And all I can think is it's full of the bones of her dad.
Okay, I'm getting on board with this because that's wild.
Wait, okay, the other option here is that it's full of yarn, because we didn't talk about it, but they both really love Cat's Cradle.
Hey.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did computer science. Can somebody explain the hardware of the circuitry looking like a cat's cradle from the side? Does anybody get that?
No. We don't have to.
Again,
it's just kind of silly and cool.
This show, if it was a 50-episode series, you'd get 10 episodes where they're figuring out how to dial in the F91's biosystem. There'd be all of these different arcs, but instead we have 2 hours of I'm gesturing towards it.
Nina, you sounded like you had something.
Oh, with the suitcase, I thought that was the same suitcase that they had found that had a bunch of the development materials from the F91.
That makes more sense than
That's like
mother.
the real answer, but...
But what if they took those out and were using them, and then they had an empty briefcase when they needed to cremate somebody?
Entirely possible.
I have a couple, if you don't mind. First of all, this movie has too many characters.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is maybe its biggest problem. It has so many characters that many of them have not been mentioned at all in our entire discussion, including, like, major ones. No one in the course of this entire, I'm checking now, 2.5-hour recording has mentioned the name of Birgit Piro, Federation pilot.
Oh God, this
He's a
fucking
major
guy.
character. And it's like, with a project this big, you can almost never say, like, oh, one specific person is at fault for all of this being bad. But, like, most elements of this film are pretty good. Like, the designs are good, the music is good, stolen from Star Wars, but it's good. The art is good. The animation is good, mostly. There's a couple of points where it's a little rough, but it's mostly pretty good. The two things that are wrong with this film are the script and the editing, which are both really bad, and both of which coincidentally were handled by one guy.
Interesting. What guy?
A certain Tomino Yoshiyuki.
My man.
Excuse me? What? Huh?
I think a better script would have saved this movie. I think a different script that was willing to actually, like, cut some of the content they had developed when they were thinking it was going to be a series would have saved this
There's
movie.
a lot that they could have done. That whoever was in charge, and I'm not pointing names, but there were 2 productions at the time, and 0083 doesn't have any of these problems. That's all I'm saying. there were somebody's hands in this one. Birgit in an RGM 109 heavy gun, which is such a nothing burger that I didn't even bring it up. It's just the GM cannon without the cannons. And he conservatively kills like 15 crossbone pilots in that, showing that, they're not actually that good. But yeah, he is basically just there to be like, I could pilot the Gundam. I'm an actual pilot. And everybody's like, I don't know. His mom made it, man. We got to let Seabach do it.
Do you remember a little guy named Amuro Ray? I think we got to bake on that.
One thing I did write in my notes that we didn't talk about how do you defeat the bugs? A thing every Gundam should always be doing, which is hold a beam saber and spin it. Just spin beam sabers constantly.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
Will it blend? One thing about the animation, I think this is a really good looking movie. And I love that they play more with the fact that up and down don't really matter in a lot of space environments. And we get a lot more like people standing on surfaces that look like walls or the ceiling or weird orientations. This is a show that takes place in space. They should play with that more.
The fights in the colonies being omnidirectional, the constant, there's a part where they're driving across one of the bridges over the glass panels on it, and there's just like a Jeggins just break through the glass and start blasting. And it's just like, oh, hey, I think there's a hole in the colony. They say that a lot, which is really cool. Like, oh, I can see the smoke moving. Mm-hmm. There must be a hole in the colony. Like, things you would think in space would be more important.
And then the final thing for me was just, much as Seabok is pretty boring, he and Cecily might end up being, in a very Gundam-y way, one of the healthiest relationships in Gundam. From the point where they're like fighting back to back against the bugs, and they don't even explicitly state what they're thinking their plan is. They just understand each other in that new typey way. She doesn't get sort of relegated to girl who needs rescuing, she goes out and destroys the Garprow. Like
she's a competent pilot in a very new type way. She just like gets trained very quickly, like Quest Paella, and just and I just kind of love it as a pilot. But also her story with him is so interesting because in a way where we don't get really a lot of anything. So this movie starts with him dragging her to a Miss Congeniality contest, and she's like, "You're just my classmate." Cut to, we are two hearts separated by distance. Like,
I'm touching your bloodstain, sadly.
But when she does, like, I love when she rips off the dress and puts on pants and a shirt. I love when a princess does that. Probably the best princess we've seen in Gundam besides Relena Peacecraft, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I like their relationship. It's cute. It's normal. Their parents suck.
Bri, did you have more?
Yeah, I wanted to say a couple things about, like, so I've been classically in the 1 year pod pretty down on Tomino charged writing generally, especially when we've gotten other Gundam stuff that wasn't headed by him that I ended up liking a lot more. And while I'm not saying this is a stronger Tomino project. I think there's a lot of weakness in this as a movie and as a script. It's gonna be kind of a special guy in my memory because it did help me sort of understand some of the things that are bouncing off of me when it comes to Tomino charge writing. And the other thing is I have been feeling a little bit of secondhand shame because the novel Small Time Folk Critic Online Discourse is about like attributing whole works to one person, even though they're massive collaborations. And this is a bad example because I think, as Tom said, Tomino's a huge voice in this writer's room. And he's also like the main thing that's wrong with this.
Yeah, to be clear, there isn't a writer's room.
Yeah.
There's Tomino. There was another writer, and then Tomino took the script away from him and rewrote it.
But in the future, I just want to say that I'm going to try to reference like Hajime Yatate more as like a collaborative persona, and maybe say writer's room instead of one person. I'm very guilty of saying Kojima a lot during the Metal Year, for example. So that's just like an aside.
To put it up against like something we've covered, Ghost in the Shell, the committee is behind the two Ghost in the Shell standalone complex series. Like, there's no specific one voice coming out of that because it was such a collaboration. Versus, especially as we get into the Gundams that's made like post 2000, where Sunrise is just shopping off to different studios. Like, hey, do you want to do a Prestige Gundam project with your voice in it? You see those voices come out, but like there are the Gundams that are made by committee and there are the Gundams that are made by Tomino, and more it's very hard to ignore when Tomino is in the room. For better or worse, I love a lot of what he does.
I do too.
But it's when he does bad that sucks.
And but what I was led to kind of understand that and this might be obvious to many people, I'm just coming to it very late. I don't know why. But I think the space that Tomino's writing occupies is inhabited by a lot more poetic perspective than traditional prose perspective. And the reason I say that is because, like, for example, the scene where Karazo just drops Theo unceremoniously and that's it, Theo's dead, and we don't even spend any time on it. Yep. The writer's room on, say, on something like Stardust Memory would probably have like a leitmotif and give that some breathing room. But lots of Tomino projects will do that, where it's like characters will just do stuff. To quote Aaron from a Unicorn episode, characters will sometimes do things that seem unmotivated or seem out of pocket or seem random, and then we just are moving on to the next thing very quickly because we want to get to the next part where someone's like shouting their ideology at the sky or whatever. And I've always felt some cognitive dissonance with that. I do think at its core it just doesn't work on me as well as a lot of the other Gundam projects we've seen. But F91 is gonna be something I remember because it really solidified in my brain that very clear difference. I think of how Stephen Hero is entranced by the ending of Char's counterattack as something poetic, and I am sitting there kind of like, this is really not hitting for me with the significance that I feel like everyone else is understanding it through. And I think that's why. And that's something that F91 helped me to understand. So I'm always going to value it for that in terms of the 1 year pod. And that was basically just my last thought.
Yeah.
It's a good
I've
one.
got it. I nailed it. I'm patting myself on the back. I understand my fucking perspective.
Yay! Now, Alice, what the fuck do we have to do?
Well, we've got to rate these goddamn mechs. Nina and Tom, this is your first time on the podcast, but at this point, we are going to rate the goddamn mechs. Now, a lot of people could have detailed, intricate rubrics, grading systems, talking about all of the different pros and cons. But we have one rating, which is how cool that fucking mech, how mechy that mech. You like that mech? Rated on 1 to 10. So you're going to take all of the mechs in this series, put them into one giant ball that you're looking at, and you're going to say on a scale of 1 to 10, what number is that getting? You can kind of talk through it. I'll throw it to my co-hosts first so that they can kind of go through it and you can get a vibe for it. But that's how we're going to rate Gundam F91. So let's start with Brian, since your name starts with a B and you just figured it out, I guess. How do you rate
Gundam?
Thank you.
How do you rate the mechanics in Gundam F91?
Yeah, this one's going to be really simple. I liked exactly one mechanical thing in this, and it was the Rafflesia. Everything else is very plain white bread to me. This is a 7. That's it. Basically, that's all I have to say on that.
Did the noodles get it to a 7? Is it
Actually,
just that good?
So it was writing at a 5 until the noodles. So yes.
Ooh, 5 is more than I thought you would give it, but on your scale, that kind of makes sense. Nico, what about you? On a scale 1 to 10, how cool them Gundam mechs?
To the little hater corner. My final thought that I didn't share because it is more relevant to the mechs is that I can't tell if I have Gundam fatigue or if this sucked out loud. I don't think it sucked out loud after having a good conversation with everyone about it, but like, I really struggled with this one. And not the least of which was because I didn't ever have any hell yeah moments. Like, I liked the Rafflesia, but again, all I could think about was the tulips from Nadesco, and I was like, whoa, yeah, this, like, inhuman thing, like, okay, that's kind of cool. But I wasn't thinking about the Rafflesia. And of course, the Rafflesia is nerfed by its pilot, who is the worst character in the show, to me. So, like, I really struggled with this one. I liked the painter robots.
The Jeggins?
I did not even think about the Jeggins. Don Draper voice, I don't think about you at all. The F91 knowing Shadow Clone Jutsu when it removes its mask was kind of like, okay, alright. I did like that the after images had masks, but, you know, I also liked that the balloons came back in this, so, you know, it's whatever.
Oh, the balloons, yeah!
Jeggin balloons are back, everybody.
I think one of the most distinctive mechanical elements here is actually something that's related to the noblesse oblige, trappings of nobility, aristocratic thing, which is that the crossbones have electric flags with crests that are deployed like Sashimono. Sashimono are the flagpoles that warriors had in feudal Japan that carried the banner of their faction, their feudal lord. A lot of the crossbones have that. They can fly a flag in space that appears to be made entirely of energy. A lot of energy, like Alice mentioned, like, you know, the F91 has an energy shield. There's a lot more use of, like, solid energy and visual energy in this. But that was undercut for me by moments like the spinning helicopter beam sabers. Okay, I understand you can pulp anything. You can pulp anything by putting it through a jet engine, especially if the jet engine blades are pure energy, but that sucked. The Beyblades sucked. That just this I liked the F91 more than most Gundams, but it was because the rest of the mechanical design did absolutely nothing for me. This is my first, I think, 1.
Yeah.
I got nothing
Damn.
here. I'm taking it all the way down.
In front of the Jeggin normal type?
Right
Holy
in front of my
shit. That's, you know, it had to happen. I get that.
We got my first 10 with 08 the best team, so I guess we got
ups and downs.
What goes first in N or a T, guys? Nina, it's over to you.
All right. As a movie as a whole, I would probably rate this a 6, like solidly meh. I didn't think it was terrible. I didn't think it was great. I love the Jeggin as like a grunt normal suit. It's a great, or not normal suit, but mobile suit. It's a great mobile suit to just have a ton of them running around.
Getting blown up.
I really loved the antique gun tank R44.
Yes.
It's probably my favorite from the whole movie. F91 is fine. I kind of liked the Denanzon because it feels like a Mobile Suit cosplay. It's like doing World War II Nazi cosplay. I love the shooty claw thing they have and the lances. But most of these mobile suits, I can pick out one or two little details I like, but as a whole, it's a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
So, solidly a 6, I think.
I get that. Tom, what about you?
Okay. I love every mobile suit in this movie.
Defender is logged on. I love it.
The excessive greebling, the details, the Berga Gyros has like the wings almost look like the little like the ear thingies that it's got almost look like the little wings that you see on like Mercury's helmet.
Yeah, I noticed those.
They've got extraneous hoses everywhere, weird cameras they don't need. I love the lances so much. I love when a melee weapon has a gun in it, and this lance not only has guns in it, but is a gun. It can shoot the lance, it can stab with the lance. It's fantastic. I really like the Jegan just as a basic design. I like the sort of futuristic gym look of the heavy gun and of the G cannon. Everything in this film is made for me. The only one that I'm only kind of lukewarm on is the F91, which is fine. It's fine. I don't have a problem with it, but it's far from my favorite Gundam design. So I think I have to rate the mecha as a whole 9.1 out of 10.
Well, we've had a half.
Yeah,
but this is our
think
first
9.1 is our first finite decimal point.
Oh, I get
won't
it.
Make you do
F91. I just got it.
Oh, yep.
I'm so smart.
I didn't get it until you said it. So.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Tom, thanks for coming. Nina,
I'll be here all week. Tip your waitress.
Nina, you can stay. Thanks for asking. I am kind of with Tom on this. I do actually like the Crossbone Vanguard because it's doing different things. It's doing a Genro thing. I think the Vina, the vagina suit is just like, it's fun. I like the funnels that they use. Where the F91, I think, supersedes other Gundams that we see as mainline Gundams is it just has those cool little guns on its side. And I will never not be... Look, most Gundams, when they have to do more Gundaming, they just throw a bunch of weapons on it. The F91 never gets extra weapons. It just has what it has, and that's it. And I kind of like that. I also love a Jegan. I'll always love a Jegan. I'll never not love a Jegan. I love when you paint an enemy suit and it's now on your side. That's always super fun. But here's the thing. I think this is the ugliest and worst mobile armor, and I'm including the fucking Greeblo, the little bug-ass guy from the first one that was a one-off episode one. This thing kind of just fucking sucks. It's so dumb, I can't get behind it.
Worse than the Zucrello?
Yes, I'm saying this is worse than that.
What do you have against the Zucrello, Nina?
And also, the G-Cannon is just so... We had the GM. We didn't need to do other things. We have good mobile suits. Why are we doing that? The gun tank, though... I love when you have a historical suit. And then the F91, I love his little angel wings. I love his guns. But this is going to come in a lot lower because we do also need to kind of course correct the 1 year pod. And you guys came in higher than I thought.
No,
so I'm going to give this one a...
Alice,
what?
Rate from your heart.
Yeah, stop rating to balance the spreadsheet. Rate from your heart.
You're right. Okay. But I'm an accountant. I have to. The F91... and the Vina Gina back-to-back fighting saw blades is so fucking cool to me. I love these kits. This is also a 9. I love the F91 suits. Even with two fucking idiots, it's just fun. But that's our final scores for Mobile Suit Gundam F91. That's the mechs right there. Well, with that, let's head to the break, and when we come back, we'll have a silly little game. Hey pilots, Alice here. Not to be an anime heroine with you here in the break, but well, I called you back behind the school for a really important reason. It's just, I've been so happy spending all this time together talking about mechs, watching giant robot anime, and building Gunpla kits together. All those wonderful days, laughing at the silly plot of Price of Smiles, sharing G-Savior with our friends, and even when we all cried at Pacific Rim 2. I really cherish you pilots, and that's why I can't keep this inside of me. I have to ask you a question. Okay, here goes. Will you please rate our podcast 5 stars? It really helps us with the algorithm. I mean, you can share with your friends too, or just post about it incessantly online. It would mean so much to me. Whew. Glad I got that off my chest. Well, all right, pilots. See you back in the episode. Welcome back from the break. We're gonna play a game. This is called the Waku game. So Brian, Nico, unfortunately, I am going to have to shove you back in the reconditioning cube because this one's for our guests.
All right, I will be scorekeeper.
Not for you. Thank you.
I'll sit here and blink my really long eyelashes.
Perfect, thank you. Nina and Tom, this one's for you. The Waku, which translates to Japanese pirates, raided coastal areas and boats in the South China Sea and operated from the 13th to 17th century. There's 2 distinct eras of the Waku. The first era was born from Mongol raiders and consisted mostly of Japanese islanders launching raids on Korean, Chinese, and Japanese cities. The later era saw an expansion of the term, where multiple ethnicities joined and it became more akin to an Asian Pirates of the Caribbean kind of vibe. But for every famous Waku pirate lord, there's an anime pirate lord. Japan's fascination with pirates might have started with Waku, but through cultural diffusion of Western media and the rise of animation industry post-war, pirates became an easy shorthand for rebellious nature in anime. It could be said that the most famous Japanese pirate of all time is actually Monkey D. Luffy. Today's game is a simple trivia quiz. I will describe a Japanese pirate to you in turn, and you're going to tell me which pirate they are, who they are. So I'm going to describe this pirate. I'm going to list 3 names, and one of these is the actual pirate. The other 2, thanks for asking. They're anime characters. We'll go in turn, so I will ask one of you to go first. If you don't get the answer, the other person has a chance to steal. Simple system. Most points at the end wins. Do you guys understand?
Yes, just a second. Our cat is crying. I have to let her know where we are.
Find her.
Also, Alice, I love you so much. I love you so much.
We're right here.
It's the Wako.
Waku. Waku.
That's fine. We know who you are. I just wanted it on the record.
Just like Anya from Spy X Family, Waku.
My God. Just like that.
I'm fighting for my fucking life.
The nation of Japan will put me up for my crimes eventually. We go alphabetical, so Nina, you're going to go first.
All right.
This pirate operated out of Ise province and joined up with Oda Nobunaga in 1560 in his conquest to take over Japan. He worked with Oda to subdue the pirates of southern Japan during the conquest of Japan. He would continue this and join many other conquests under Oda, including an invasion of the Korean peninsula. What was his name? Number 1, Phantom F. Harlock. Number 2, Kuki Yoshitaka. Or number 3, Kazuya Kinoshita. Which of these 3 was that pirate?
The second one?
That is correct!
What?
It was Kuki Yoshitaka.
Yeah, obviously not a Harlock.
Space Captain Harlock wasn't there in 1560?
Harlock.
Harlock.
Say it in the
That's
Japanese
right.
accent, and then nobody can tell.
So good. Yeah, it was kooky. He was pretty kooky, am I right, guys? Thanks for asking. Kazuya Kinoshita is the protagonist from Rent-A-Girlfriend. Fuck that guy forever. Number 2, this one's to you, Tom. This pirate sailed for the Mori clan, whose roots in piracy date back to the early Waku period. Despite being offered allyship with Oda, he sailed against Oda and lost, effectively ending the Mori clan's dominance of pirating in southwest Japan. Was it Nino Nakano, Murakima Takeyoshi, or Aisha Clan?
Could you read those to me again?
I would love to mispronounce these to you again, which does make this game 10 times harder.
You're like, Alice, you did this to yourself.
It's harder if I mispronounce them. Nino Nakano, Murakami Takeyoshi, or Aisha Clan.
I think the first one.
It is incorrect. It is not Nino Nakano, who is one of the 5 quintessential quintuplets from the quintessential quintuplets rom-com.
I feel okay about missing
You're
that
one. Nino is the one with the butterflies. We all know she's the gal type. Everybody knows this, right? Just me? Okay. Nina, back over to you. Was it Murakami Takeyoshi or Aisha Clan Clan?
Takeyoshi.
That is correct.
Was it not
Aisha Clan Clan is in fact from Outlaw
I
Star.
love her so much.
She's the cat one, by the way.
Thanks.
That's it. That's all you need to know.
It's a great name.
So good. Tom, back to you. Wait, no, back to Nina because Nina stole it. Nina, originally a salt merchant, this pirate continued trade under the Ming Dynasty's period of maritime prohibitions and ran a large sea smuggling operation. They are noted for dispersing firearms all across the South China Sea. Was it Wang Ji, Cheng Wai San, or Wang Ling?
Yeah.
That's Wang Ji, Cheng Wai San, or Wang Ling.
Cheng Wai-san.
Unfortunately, no. That is a character from Black Lagoon. He is the leader of the Chinese mafia in Black Lagoon. Tom, you have a chance to steal. Was it Wang Ji or Wang Ling?
Wang Ji.
That is correct. Wang Ji was one of the biggest pirates in China at the time.
Yes.
Wang Ling is the protagonist of the immortal life of the daily life of an immortal god king, which is a pretty okay anime.
I can't believe the 5 chapters of Investiture of the Gods I read didn't help me with that one.
Unfortunate.
I told you should have read the whole thing. It's only 1,000 pages.
I will say the anime is pretty great. Billy did it. It's actually okay. Because I don't read books. You all know
We
that
know
about
that.
me
You're
by
literate.
this point, I feel like. Yeah, I don't read. I mean, have you seen me try to read these questions? Oof. Question 4, which means this would be a Tom.
Yeah.
Founder of the Zhang clan, this baddie daddy started as a legitimate maritime lord, but under the Ming dynasty became a galvanizing figure for the Wako during the Ming dynasty, who defected and then joined the Qing dynasty because they paid better. His son would go on to start a pro-Ming kingdom in Taiwan, which would lead to this man's execution. Was it 1, Zhu Zhiliang, number 2, Wang Zhou, or number 3, Zhang Zhilong?
Zhang Zhilong.
That is correct!
Nice.
That's the dude. He had 2 sons, and both of them went on to do insane shit. And eventually, the emperor was like, "You need to kneel to me," and he said, "I'm good," and he got killed for it. China, am I right? Zhu Zhiliang is the headless warrior pilot from Iron Widow, and Wang Jiao is also from the Immortal Daily Life, the Daily Life, blah blah blah. Nina, back to you.
All right.
The Red Flag Fleet was led by an infamous boss babe, whose humble origins as a sex worker caught the attention of Zhang Yi, leader of the Red Flag Fleet. He married her, and after his untimely death, she seized the opportunity to take command of his fleet. Her rule was brutal, but fair, as she instituted a 20-80 split on Looney. That's 20 for you and 80 for the fleet. Who was this boss babe? Was it Xing Xie, Jing Tian, or Shi Lulan?
Shi Lulan?
Unfortunately, no. That is one of the concubines from Apothecary Diaries. I'm so sorry.
Nuts.
You really should have gotten that one. You love Apothecary Diaries.
Yeah,
Well, they don't use her
but
last
the
name,
names...
to be fair. She's just Lulan. Your turn to seal, Tom. Was it Qing Xie or Jing Tian?
Qing Xie.
That is correct. Look her up. She's the pirate queen of China. She's really cool. She literally like raided a whole bunch of villages, and then when like the heat got too bad, she was like, "I'm just gonna kind of quit and take all the money," and it worked. Really cool story.
Oh, sorry. I just kept thinking of Red Dawn from the Swordsman movies.
Yes. Tom, question 6.
Okay.
This one may be blurring the lines, but this was the most powerful naval commander in the South China Sea of this era of the 1500s. He lauded the largest maritime force. In fact, his largest ships would dwarf a modern frigate. He's the guy who made those big-ass ships that you see when they're like, "Hey, here's Christopher Columbus' ship. Here's this big-ass ship." The fucking Europeans couldn't do shit. His greatest glory came when he destroyed a Dust East Indies colony, and he unfortunately died before he could launch a campaign against a Spanish colony. Who was this lord? Was this Odajima, Kozinga, or Xinhua? He had a real name, but he...
Xinhua?
Unfortunately, no. That is the sexy Chinese assassin from Black Lagoon.
I need to watch that
You do.
one.
Black Lagoon's super good, actually.
Oh my god. I think so much about Black Lagoon. We can't do it. Nina, you have a chance to steal. Was it Odajima or Kozinga?
Odajima?
Unfortunately, no. Otojima is one of the people from the Princess Mononoke new movies on Netflix. He's the kind of twink guard. It was Kozinga. His real name was Jin Cheng-jong, but he took the name when he became a god living on Earth. There's a whole thing about it. Cool guy. I don't know. I like him. His sons were dicks. Oh my god, Nico, what's this over here? My biosensor's picking it up.
Could it be a bonus question?
Yes, it is. Guys, this is a bonus question. So this one's to both of you. So you're going to choose your answer, and then we'll kind of go from there. So I'm going to now ask you the question. I have been very brave and have yet to bring this up, but I simply must. When we're talking about pirate anime, the only one that Alice can think of is Moretsu Pirates, aka Miniskirt Pirates. The localized name, Bodacious Space Pirates, doesn't do justice to the story of an all-female academy's space sailing club and their sometimes pirate activities. Based on a light novel, and with 26 episodes and a movie, it's a more fleshed-out space adventure than F91 could ever hope to achieve. But back in 2013, the only other canon material released for Moretsu Pirates came out. And of course, because this is Japan, it was done in a way which was hilariously limited and hard for Westerners to get a hold of, and I'm still mad about it. What way did they release more content for Moretsu Pirates? There's 5 choices here. Let me read through them. Number 1, was it a convenience store collaboration? Number 2, was it a horse racing collab? Number 3, was it a sailing club collab in Okinawa? Was it 4, a pachinko machine collab? Or was it 5, a maid cafe pop-up collab? Once again, that's a convenience store collab, horse racing, sailing, pachinko, or a maid cafe. Give you a minute to figure out your answers, and then we'll...
What year did you say this was?
2013 is when this collab came out.
2013.
To run until 2017.
Well, I have my guess.
Tom's thinking. What weird way did they promote this? What weird way?
They love weird horse racing tie-ins. But it doesn't have any connection to the show.
Has it stopped them before?
All right, I think I have my vote ready.
Nina, what do you have?
Pachinko.
Tom?
Maid Cafe.
Nina takes it. It was a pachinko machine collab in which you played out an entire heist of a spaceship as the Moretsu Pirates. This added the only additional canon content to the Moretsu Pirates franchise, and I'm still mad about it. This is like the Metal Gear Solid pachinko machines that added canon content about them. What are we doing, Japan? Stop making it so hard to consume your content.
Are you lurking on eBay for secondhand pachinko machines?
Now, you have enough room in that office.
No. Have you seen how much Yuri is in here? Absolutely not.
I think you might have to launch some sort of heist.
Interesting. Some sort of Japanese heist. Okay. Nico, pulling you out of rehabilitation.
Okay.
What we got?
I've been crunching numbers with the MILF who designed this game, and we've come back with some challenging results. But not unexpected for a podcast with 2 hosts to be perfectly in sync. It is a tie. Each of you got 3 points.
Oh, that's perfect. All right. Well, that was our game about pirates. I could have done any pirate game, and I did that. You're welcome. Nico, I'm picking up something else on the contact circuit over here. It looks to be a flash transmission.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw.
Actually, let me throw to Brian because I threw to you for the game.
I was literally about
Brian,
to throw to Brian.
Could you read this communique? It looks like it's from the Fetties back on Earth.
I can. I just realized it's like a flat out compliment to our podcast.
No, it is. Read it in front of Nina and Tom, please.
This is a show of dominance. I understand. We do this to all of our guests too.
See, because I'm a member of the noble class who can fight.
Alice has decided to open conflict, thus making her nobility.
I've unfurled banners. I'm getting in it.
This is a 5-star Apple Podcast review from Ephemeris, Ephemeriis. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce that. It says,
don't ask me.
Subject title, Absolute Joy. On the Shoulders of Giants has rapidly become one of my favorite podcasts. They're simultaneously hilarious and insightful. That's very generous. Thank you. Every episode is an absolute joy. That's also very generous. Price of Smiles is out there. Thank you.
Are 3?
Those are episodes you can still listen to.
Well, thank you so much. Of course, I mean, we bring it up in our little fake ad, but Apple Podcasts has unfair hegemony. We've got to start going to Spotify, though, because Spotify has opened comment sections.
I will say, Pocket Cast now has reviews if people want to leave it on there.
Oh,
okay.
We're also 5 on Pocket Cast
We're
currently.
opening all the fronts of this conflict.
Oh, yeah. Pocket Cast has ratings, but they don't have reviews. That's what Apple Podcasts does, is it helps you with SEO because people will leave reviews.
You can also just like add us on Blue Sky if that's too hard. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. Why I like this note though is we got a Apple review a while back from a union welder, and I just want that union welder to know, number one, thank you for being in a union, and number two, there's a really good representation of a welder in F91. So if you're looking for welder content, we finally found
Follow
it.
for more soft welder content.
No, thank you for writing in. All reviews help, etc., etc. I also just love being glazed. Glaze me forever. I should be the next space queen. If they
Alice
said, "Hey, do you want to be a fast
crispy
queen?" I would have said yes.
Cream donut the way she wants to be glazed.
Okay.
Anyway,
You're welcome.
and that's this episode of On the Shoulders of Giants, where we discussed Mobile Suit Gundam F91. Any parting thoughts, everybody? Thanks for asking. I have one. Hey, Endless Waltz did it better. That's it. Endless Waltz is a better version of this. I'm coming out hot on it. If you know, you know. Endless Waltz is a better version of this and will remain the better version of this.
Wow, okay. We don't have to unpack all that. Anyway.
Monica, Arno, I'm free on Thursday. If you are also free on Thursday, please call me. And on Thursday, we can go somewhere.
Brian, anything else?
No, I love
Inside.
women.
Why am I?
Hey, me too. Me too. Why, man.
Who doesn't?
Thanks for listening. Pilots, remember you can reach out for advice from the team at our email, questions@osgpod.com, and non-pilots can send general questions or feedback to that same address. You can also catch up with us on social media. Links are in the description for updates and more. You'll find a link to the show Discord there. Come and hang out. Nina and Tom, where can people find you?
We had the good fortune to land at GundamPodcast.com. And so links to various places where you can listen to our podcast, episodes themselves, show notes, everything is there. We also have a current project that is coming out next month. Super exciting. Tom wrote an audio drama.
Yo!
It is fully voice acted, sound effects. We commissioned music. It's going to be incredible.
Awesome. Can we know anything more about it? Any exclusives?
I can tell you a little bit about it. 1 second.
And while you're real quick, once you said next month, so does that mean June?
The public release will be June 25th.
That's pretty close to when this
right?
is going to come out, I think.
Cool. So it has nothing to do with Gundam. I'll say that right up front. And as of yet, no giant robots have appeared. So if you're looking for that, you are going to be disappointed. But it's sort of a mystery with elements of magical realism, light sci-fi, a hint of cyberpunk sprinkled on top for flavor. Technology, surveillance, conspiracy. It's about living in a world where you could be monitored at any point by anyone all the time. And our packaged little pitch here is set in a deceptively familiar world of constant surveillance, information overload, and machine-mediated communication. The disappearances of Lydia Fontaine follows Lydia Ryan and her friends, lovelorn Ethan and wannabe internet sensation Dee, as they struggle to unravel the mystery of her mother's disappearance, escape the clutches of the sinister Fontaine family, and survive the feud over her grandfather's supernatural legacy. It weaves bitter family drama and high-stakes intrigue with fantasy and cyberpunk elements to create a surreal mystery about secrets and grudges, old books, big data, and the promise of infinite knowledge.
Ooh.
That sounds sick as hell.
Just a little bit.
Have you ever read any Stuart Turton?
I don't think I have.
I would highly recommend. I mean, it sounds like it's dabbling in a similar genre space.
Recommend me a book. What's the title?
It's The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle.
Okay.
Is this a short series or a one-off drama?
It's we have one episode out already, the pilot episode that we made a couple of years ago before the Kickstarter, and then there are going to be 9 new episodes coming out this summer. The first one will come out on June 21st, and then it'll go until August 16th.
Nice. Well, that's exciting. That's something for everyone to look forward to.
Speaking of crowdfunding, hey guys, go give money to the Mobile Suit Breakdown. Go give them money on Patreon. Give them money for actual research and bringing on actual psychologists and doing real shit. Like,
learn about Yugoslavia and pay for it.
Learn about Yugoslavia.
Yeah, get some fucking education. Anyway, thank you both so much for being here. Love the project that you guys are doing. I love listening to Nina exploring Gundam for the first time in series that are innate to me, but are just wonderful. Tom brings a great energy and just kind of a guiding light that I enjoy too. But honestly, everything you guys are doing, it's a very slow and satisfying burn of a media franchise that is formative to me, and I think to a lot of people. So thank you so much for coming on to our silly little podcast where I talk about pirates.
It's been so much fun.
Thanks for having us. This was a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we can have you back again for something that is more complete. But until then, make sure to check back in 2 weeks, yes, when we will be discussing the Dark Horse Comics Mecha series. Until then, On the Shoulders of Giants will continue in the future.
Goodbye, I love you.
Goodbye. I'm leaving you for Theo.